What's up, duelists? Today I've got a very, very exciting video. I'm joined here by ProStorm, RBET Rulers winner. What's up, ProStorm? How are you doing today?
Yo, Keegan, what's up? Longtime fan of the channel. Happy to be here.
Longtime fan of you, even though we just had this exchange not 5 minutes ago before we started recording. I'm really excited. We've got all of your matches from RBET Rulers today. We're going to be going over all of them. But first things first, I want to, get to know you a little bit. How'd you get into playing Yu-Gi-Oh?
Yeah, sure. I mean, honestly, I was quite bored when the pandemic happened, and I was just looking for something to take up some of my free time. So picked up Yu-Gi-Oh again. It was quite nostalgic, and then soon I found Edison and really liked the format. And yeah, it's definitely my favorite format right now. The format, so many cool decks to play, so many different strategies, and the players are getting better too. So that's always a good thing, and that's actually one of the things I really like about RBET Rulers. Like every single player, every single match, every round, it was just filled with really strong opponents, and the quality of gameplay was off the charts. So it was really fun, and you always want to go up against the best, right, and beat the best. So it's definitely a fantastic tournament. So thanks to you for hosting the whole thing, and yeah.
Thanks to you for winning the whole thing with my favorite deck. No, I'm kidding. I'm not kidding. But let's just go ahead and get right into the matches. I'm also very excited because every single one of these matches would previously be an RBET Grand Final quality match. And as you can see here, round one against an RBET winner, Raikoko 7. Did you have any idea what Raikoko 7 was playing going into this match?
Yeah, so it's actually super funny. So a bit of a backstory. I'm traveling right now. So I was in Southeast Asia when the tournament happened, and I think the tournament started at 2 a.m. my time, and I was like super tired that day off. So I went to bed around midnight and set my alarm for 2 a.m. But I am just completely sleeping past my alarm, and I woke up at 3 a.m. I thought I just got disqualified. But because I had the round one bye, I actually only got a game loss against Raikkonen. It's still tough. I basically had to 2-0 him. And he won Rivet 4, so definitely a very strong player. But my teammates were able to scout him for me. So shout out to Ring of Destruction. And I knew he was on Bayou Turbo. So I guess going into game two, he didn't know what I was on, and I knew he was on Bayou Turbo. And I was going first. So that definitely gives me a bit of an edge. But you never want to have to 2-0 someone like a strong opponent. It's always a tough hole to begin with.
True. So you're going into game two. You had a game lost because you had to sleep, basically. This was a tough time zone for you. And you were also playing on mobile, if I'm not mistaken. Were you.
Yeah. I was playing on mobile. So actually, so most people think mobile is actually terrible to play on, but I found that on Mozilla you can actually turn your phone landscape and play landscape, which just makes it so much easier. And I mean, I do a few misclicks near the end of the tourney, but it wasn't unplayable per se. So yeah, we can just get into it. So
Awesome.
yeah, this opening hand. I'm just seeing, I have Dust Tornado, I have Storm. Um,
This is a
like,
dust tornado that
I,
you've sighted in, correctly? Like, this is not.
yeah, for sure, for sure. I mean, I main deck one Dust Tornado, but I definitely side them in because going first, you want to snipe DDVs, you want to snipe on Lightning Poisoning, just play the game, right? If you play the game, at very beats value all the time. So yeah, here I believe I set my Storm. Uh,
You
just because I
ProStorm.
have Dust as well. So yeah,
That's awesome. ProStorm on the first turn of the tournament. ProStorm starting off with a ProStorm. Makes sense. Set DD Warrior Lady. The reason you set DD Warrior Lady instead of Shining Angel is because you want to keep your Herald alive. Is that correct?
yeah, definitely. In case anything crazy happens. Uh, yeah.
All right. Raikoko
So
starts.
this is fine.
Yeah, this is fine. You probably would not have bottomless this anyway, I'm assuming.
Yeah. Save bottomless for bigger threats.
Yep, makes sense. And does he play into the storm? He does not.
Yeah, so this is tough. I was thinking like I know he likes running deep prison. And I have Dust Ringer on MSD, which is a bit redundant. But I get a bit greedy. I think maybe he has bottomless and I'm swinging with the Angel. So it was a bit greedy, but yeah, so I get deep prison here, which kind of hurts. But I figured, I maybe I said bottomless here. Um, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know
'Cause
about
I
that
think
play. I'm gonna be honest. I don't know about that play, ProStorm. I probably would
yeah,
have
yeah.
typhooned it. Yeah, I get
So
you.
I don't think I just had to read it was bottomless to be honest, but it was deep prison, so I got punished. And now the storm is looking really good in a few turns.
That's true. And you do pick up another Shining Angel, so once again,
So
not
that
the
was that
worst.
was one thing about playing six recruiters. You just see your starters more often. Because just like loses when you lose your recruiter and you just keep drawing dead cards. So just having six recruiters helps a lot in that case.
Makes sense. Makes sense. And then you go for another swing with the Shining Angel. Despite seeing the first Deep Prison, you were not afraid of Mirror Force or Deep Prison at all?
No, I feel like one set has to be bottomless here. Um, Maybe oppression. Just dead cards.
For sure. You were just gambling on him unlikely having multiple copies of Deep Prison in the opening, basically, is what you're saying.
Yeah,
And here you're just using your bottomless because you want your heavy to be live. Is that the true case?
yeah, exactly. Yeah, just no reason to let that go through.
Very nice. Very nice. Here comes heavy. Gonna trade with the solemn. At this point, are you thinking about that new set at all? Are you thinking that could
Yeah,
potentially be
yeah,
an out
it's
to your angel?
easy. Yeah, yeah, very easy MST. Like I didn't even think twice. Just MST a new set.
Makes perfect sense. That's obviously going to be the out to the angel. He didn't have it last turn. He didn't solemn it last turn, so uh, he
Yeah, and I
wasn't.
feel like now the middle set's either oppression or bottomless.
Makes
So I'm
perfect sense.
sitting pretty good here. I can dust and face set return.
Yep, you have the 1-2 punch with dust into return. Freed's a pretty good draw. You don't really have a grave for it yet, but if the Shining Angel ever dies, it can float you into the second material. Or you could just go straight for Bryonic here. Is that what you're thinking?
Yeah, yeah. I just dust the back row, go for Dio, and because it's lethal.
Nice. So that was a pretty straightforward one. You had one inaccurate read, and then you had one very correct read with the clutch ProStorm alongside a couple of banishes for some Sirokkos, and it just worked out really well. His deck never really got going, so he was never really able to do anything unfair, but he does know what you're on now, and he's going first. Do you sideboard any differently now?
No, it's mostly the same. I think as long as you dodge turn one DDV, uh, and turn two like dad, the matchup's pretty favorable.
Okay.
So yeah, let's see what happens.
Let's get into it. Let's get into it. So your opening hand, you do have Consecrated Light in. Is that a card you like to board in against this type of matchup?
So against Vayu, not as much because they have way more outs. But I just boarded into one because it's something you hold and you drop late game after you go through the Rykos and if they don't side draws, once you deal with the Rykos, the consecrate's pretty good. So yeah, this sounds pretty good.
We've also got the two cards. I know we had talked a little bit right before the tournament. I think this was the last conversation we had right before the tournament. And I was like, you should add one breaker, one compulse for the value matchup. And it looks like you drew both of them, which is awesome.
Yeah, it was nice. I mean, compulse was a pretty clutch card all week long. It's just fast. It's never dead. Um, like my other considerations, they're just situational cards. They're great at like knocks. So they're great if you draw them at the right time, but horrible if you top deck them late. So I think breaker and compulse are just always good. They'll do what you want, and yeah.
True, true. So now he searched for Greffer with Rhoda. Are you thinking about whether or not you're going to herald this Greffer to dodge the turn 1 DDV? Oh, I guess he doesn't.
Yeah. So I was thinking like if you want Greffer effect, I was definitely gonna herald it because yeah, this hand loses to turn one DDV, right?
Yeah.
So yeah.
I think you just okay. What do you do here? I mean, I know what I would do
So
here. I would summon this
yeah.
guy.
So
But
what I did was I summoned Breaker and I swung because my read is his set is DDV and he's waiting to normal summon Sirocco and DDV move. That's my read.
ooh, that's a good one though. That's a good one to hit. Heavy Storm here?
So the reason why I don't summon Nova or anything else is if his set is DDV and he summons Sirocco next turn, I'm losing 4 cards. So I can't let that happen.
That's true. That's true. You have to play this way. In the case that it is
Yeah.
DDV. If it is bottomless, that means he's left in his bottomless against you, which A lot of people don't leave in. They usually side out for the DDVs or side out for the light imprisoning. So very few cards are actually going to punish you for this play.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm looking to deep freezing, that was a gamble, but it was okay. So he actually has Sidekick here, which is a bit annoying because I have Orb.
Yeah, that's true. But you can theoretically clear the Cyber Dragon with just one Nova Summoner if you really want to. Right?
Yeah, so I actually sided out my Cyber Valley just because, it's not that good in this matchup going second. You're behind on tempo already going second, and you don't want to get DDV'd.
I see.
If I kept it in, it would have been nice.
Yeah, the Cyber Valley would have been good here, but still not a bad situation. Not a bad situation.
Yeah,
Are you thinking... Did you consider like crashing this at all? Or was that not on your...
No, because it's just taking unnecessary damage. Let him attack into me. His Storm is gone too, so I can set bottomless. I'm not taking too much damage. Really only get punished if the set is light imprisoning. But I can always, I guess, compulse side draw and bottomless it again, then drop Orb and stabilize.
Yeah, that's true. You get End-Phase Dusted on your bottomless. Did you have any read on their back row, considering they set Heavy Storm the first turn? Was there any read there at all?
I thought maybe he would have Solemn in hand, to be honest. Because usually you set Storm if you have Solemn in hand.
Makes sense.
You just don't want... Yeah.
You don't...
Or multiple back row removal, so...
Yep, that makes sense. He is just going to attack into your Recruiter. Do you like this play from him? Or do you think that that's kind of a questionable play?
I think it's just too passive. With Fairy, the way you beat Fairy is you just really have to test them. If you're just swinging one for one, you're letting me do my thing, and that's always going to work out well for me.
Yes, exactly. At this moment, you have a couple of pretty good plays. You have a couple of pretty good plays.
I'm reading the set as Raiko.
Of course.
And I swing into Mirror Force, and the reason why I do that is because he has multiple deep prisons.
Yes, that's true. So it's more likely to be a deep prison than it is to be a Mirror Force. Is that why you came to that line of thought?
Yeah, and I wanted to kind of clear his board a bit because if he has Raiko and next turn can get a bit ugly but it's a Psych Greffer. So now I know his hand's kind of weak. He doesn't have any good discards. And I have the Herald to stop Kayeth, to stop Greffer.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And if the Greffer tries to get aggressive, I mean, you're just going to float into whatever you want, and you're going to get more lights in your grave for your Freed. So it looks like you're kind of just positioned to take over this game. Even though the position may look incredibly neutral, I think you're incredibly favored here.
Yeah, I mean, Freed is great. So even if he goes DDV, so here I'm thinking, he discarded Greffer, so DDV is not really a threat.
Yeah.
And maybe he drops Dad here. If he drops Dad, I have Herald. He only has 2 darts, but if he goes like Chris or something, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just let that go. There's no reason to Herald.
Yeah, he could also go like... The only reason I would think about maybe heralding this is because it gets it out of play in case he has something like Plague in hand. But if he had Plague in hand, why is he not discarding it to the Greffer? So
yeah, and then I'll just compulse the Brio or herald it, so
yep,
not really an issue.
True. Here, you chain Compulse on the Dark Greffer. This is going to set him back again, another summon.
So this was actually kind of funny because I feel like maybe he was going to make a Kai's play. And actually, you watch the next few turns. It's funny how things turn out.
Looks
so
like
the Greffer again.
Attack into the Greffer.
I poke because I want to summon Orb. I forgot about it being Solemn. I was thinking Orb blocks Kai's, but yeah.
Yeah, I think the only things that punish you here is what? Orb and Torrential.
Yeah.
And Torrential's still just a 2 for... Or, sorry, not Orb. Solemn or Torrential. And Torrential's still a 2 for 2, so you're probably okay with it.
Yeah, and you have to play into it eventually, I guess. Otherwise, you can't get over the Greffer. So here goes Kai's. It kind of sucks because I have the Herald in hand.
Okay, so here's my question for you. Heavy Storm and Typhoon are gone, as well as a Dust Tornado. I would activate this legacy in the draw phase just to try and find a fairy for Herald.
Yeah,
Did you
no,
consider
that's
that?
totally correct. No, I just totally it was just a bad play on my end. I should have checked on it.
Interesting, interesting. Okay. But hindsight's 2020. First
So
game of the day, you're just
yeah,
waking up from like an hour of sleep. Totally understandable to miss things, especially with a card like Legacy. This is a relatively new inclusion for you, so missing some of these lines is like totally understandable, right?
yeah, it's definitely wrong. And Jodicus deal, which is really funny because it would have been good.
Yeah,
But I still have life trade, and that's
yeah,
that's fine.
yeah. And that's gonna
I didn't
trade with the.
expect them to keep the bottomless.
That's true. That's true. At this point, do you gun the Legacy? No. Still wait on it. Interesting. Okay. Okay. Well, we know he has the Armageddon Knight, and you pretty much have to stop this, right?
Yeah, this is an easy Herald.
Yep.
And Gores is
Oh,
like such a good top deck there. So now
that is really good. That is really
Gores as a
good.
legacy
Oh my
is really
goodness.
funny. So I'm thinking like if he swings, he loses here, but he actually has the two right cards to still go minus, but he's not out of it yet.
Yeah, he can Black Rose you here, right? With the Plague and the.
Yeah, yeah,
Yep.
that's what he does.
Yep.
But it's essentially 3 for 1.
Yeah. Yeah. Very strong 3-for-1 for you. And it puts you back in the driver's seat. Gore's super clutch there.
Yeah,
He
Rex is a good
does.
top deck too.
Why does he make the Armed Wing? Is it because he's afraid of dying? I don't understand why he makes the Armed Wing. I
I guess
guess
just to play around bottomless.
that works too. He's seen one bottomless, also one compulse, but yeah, there is still the second bottomless. That makes sense.
Yeah, so Reckle's a good top deck. Otherwise, I would have had to set D out to recycle free.
Yeah. Yeah, that is a good top deck. End phase, you can pick this off with a Space Typhoon. Honest is really insane draw here, actually. That's super good.
Yeah, I think the sequence of draws here was pretty fortunate, and now the game is just hard to lose.
Yeah,
It was
because
honest and yeah,
they're top decking. They can't attack over your cards unless you, unless they want to lose to Honest straight up. They can never attack into this Dimensional Alchemist ever again, basically, which is really good. Do you think about?
I don't summon. I don't summon Honest here because if that's Hamster, I need to drop Honest to clear the Hamster.
That makes sense. That makes sense. I was gonna say, are you thinking about attacking in the case that it is Hamster? But because you have the Honest to clear it, it makes perfect sense.
Yeah, so
Raiko's
he
gonna.
probably should have hit the DL, but I don't think he was sure if it would miss timing.
Yeah,
Probably ruling he could move. Yeah.
yeah, he definitely misplayed there, not taking out the DL. It also saves him 200 life, but at this point in the game, 200 life is marginal. Because the difference between 1050
Yeah,
and 850 is nothing. Brain Control can still be activated. And everything that's
Yeah,
going
so
to
once
kill
he
you.
mellowed Burial, it was pretty easy.
Yep. Yep. And then you're going to attack here. And that's going to be the match. Crazy. Crazy game. I think there was a lot of chances where he could have actually really, really messed you up. But
Yeah, I mean, I don't think my play was perfect there, but the result was more important, and we got there. So
yeah, honestly, I think it was a few things where, like you said earlier, he didn't press you as hard as he should have. He was a little bit afraid of a sweeper, and you were able to like do exactly what your deck wanted to do, and it worked out. So good first match for the tournament, coming back from a round 1 loss due to the time rules, and then we'll go ahead and just hop over to the second match here. Second match against
yeah,
J4.
it doesn't get any easier, right?
No,
Swedish Black Wings,
yeah,
strong middle
this is actually
uh,
probably one of the harder matches, right?
Well, I thought this was the best matchup for me, just because in testing, I just been killing the Blackwing lists. I said back in September, all these Blackwing lists, they have 1 and 2 outs to orb. And in testing, it's just been destroying the Blackwing list, because I bring in my bodies and just counters for DDV and Icarus. And yeah, but it's always tough if they open Whirl, have Dad, or open DDV. But like those kind of opening hands, almost every deck loses to. So I figured that's not a reason to not play fairies.
Yeah,
And
That's
yeah,
true.
it's actually the first game he has a double whirl. That- even just in Ribbon 1 as well, like some Blackman player on the bubble, he opened double whirl against me, I still won. It's just, I think Xeris has a good matchup against Black Wings in general. And I was a bit fortunate too to find my storm. But yeah, let's get into it.
Let's get into it. So you do get to go first, which is huge
Oh,
here.
that's huge. I think I lose the game if I go second. If you just look at his hand, actually, like I think he has whirl. So if he went first, I'm already behind. He has Xeris, he has whirl, he has
Yeah,
Laura. I don't think I can win.
yeah, he does have an actual effective normal summon in Bora with the whirlwind. So yeah, it's pretty tough. I mean, you could mount a comeback because you do have the torrential, you do have the brain, you have some recruiters.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think if he goes first, you're actually probably fine. Because you just go.
It's hard though. 'Cause, yeah.
It is hard, but you can just crash DD Warrior Lady, set torrential, and be fine probably.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, just in this specific instance, because you do have the torrential, which is like the comeback card, but it would have been harder. It would have been a very different game had he gone first for sure. Here you're going to be bottomlessing, of course. Don't want to let him
Yeah.
get the search.
Mhm.
And this is the bane of Blackwing monsters like this with Black Whirlwind, is if you activate Black Whirlwind and you summon a Blackwing monster, it turns Bottomless Trap Hole into a 2-for-1, basically.
So, yeah, plus one.
Yep. You find
So
another
here,
recruiter.
I'm slamming both because I know most lists don't play torrential. It's only punished by Mirror Force, and because I don't have a good response to a second summon, I need to press him. I have brain, so getting in the damage is how I see I'm winning.
Yeah, that makes sense. You've got a game plan here, which is get 2,800 now through almost every single back row, and then have maybe a turn later on where you're able to brain control a lone Blackwing monster or a Sirocco or something like that, and then get in the rest of the damage. These cards are also really difficult for Blackwing decks to clear.
Yeah, they're very sticky. But I have the reader set as Icarus, so he's gonna get a nice +1 next turn. There's just nothing he can do about it.
True. I mean, +1 in what sense? I guess off the whirlwind.
Yeah, he gets an extra search, then Icarus is both. But he's not the second roll, and this is when it's like kind of off.
Yeah, that's really tough. I mean, he's still not able to do too much here. What I was thinking when I was doing commentary on this game, actually, in this moment, is if he searches for Blizzard plus Gale, one of the ways he can special the Gale, and then if the set is Icarus, he can just Icarus the two monsters. Or
Yeah.
or if the set is not Icarus, he could maybe go for a Black Rose, and it wouldn't be the worst play. Like, it actually wouldn't be that bad.
But he has Icarus, so he does the line. I think he gets Kalut, which I think is a mistake.
Yeah.
He doesn't want Blizzard here.
Yeah, that was
Kalut's like just useless.
huge mistake. That actually cost him so much this game. It's not even funny. When he searched for it, he does.
He already has a Blizzard in hand.
He does have the Blizzard in hand, but I still think getting two Blizzards here is like, it's a big deal. Also, how do you feel about this attack?
I'm okay with it. I'm definitely not flipping Deep Prison because I don't want to get a 3-for-2.
Yeah, but like, is that a good attack from him? Is that like an attack you would make?
Well, I mean, I guess from his thinking is if I had Herald and Castilla, then 2 fairies and Herald makes Castilla alive. Whereas now I have 3, so dropping Herald's a bit more awkward. I don't know if that's what he was thinking. It gets a bit more damage in as well, I believe.
That's true.
For 600.
That's true, because he did plan on using the Icarus.
Yeah. So here I draw Storm, and I'm thinking like, how do I best use my cards, right? Like one play is just Storm and Nova and clear the Bora, set the Torrential.
Yeah?
But he doesn't have Icarus right now, and so I'm thinking like I find Cyber Valley and BrainCon to draw get a +1.
Yes.
The only downside with this is it turns off Cristia.
But it also turns off Blizzard for the most part. I mean, Blizzard can still bring back Gale.
It turns off Blizzard. So his hand is Blizzard Kalut right now, and it makes my TT better.
Yeah. Do you think about...
So TT stalls another turn.
Do you
TT
think...
stalls another turn of World, then I can storm the next turn.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. You don't need to storm this turn. You can storm next turn for the most part.
Yeah, another bonus is if he picks up another spell, a trap storm gets a bit better as well. So here he blizzards.
And this is the blizzard that you
And
didn't know about because he had searched Gale Kalut, right?
yeah,
Okay.
so he declares both, and I have to Terrestrial. I can't let him find the values section. So I think, if he has a lure, that's just really bad. It's like a pot of greed.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. He was able to find a back row. It's going to be a Royal Decree, which is really interesting that he has this in his main deck, actually. How do you feel about this being mained in Blackwings right now?
Yeah, I mean, I can understand if you're expecting mostly mirrors. Decree just sticks to your mirror summons. I know they were citing it before, but I mean, I don't really have a strong opinion on it. I think it could be a blowout, but it could also backfire because it turns off your traps. And it just depends on playstyle, right? I think this Blackwing list is just more hyper aggressive and just needs to attack through traps. Whereas standard Blackwing plays more defensive traps and a bit more of a grind game, and they win off just that advantage off of Blizzard, off Whirl, off Dad. So it's just different playstyles.
Makes sense. Makes sense. Okay, so here you're basically forced to heavy because you can't let him get another normal on the 2
For
whirlwinds.
sure. Yeah, and so you see here, after I cleared a Gale, I'm actually up. I went first, so it's effectively neutral.
Yep. Which is
2 great hand traps.
It's kind of insane to be neutral against double whirlwind, but hey, if you play the game well, then you can end up in a position where you've navigated it correctly, and this is a good spot for you. You are down in life, and brain control would murder you, but it's just brain control basically, right?
Yeah. So here I think Griff is kind of annoying.
Yeah, it is.
If I don't herald this, I have to burn my honest on Griffer, then I can't clear an armed wing. So I am heralding it. It also turns off his dad.
Yeah, I like the herald here. I actually think that that's a really good play. It's a 2 for 2.
Yeah.
He does get a value in the grave, but what were you gonna say?
That's fine. He has Kalut in hand, so
you do know about the
really
Kalut. Exactly.
Yeah, he switched it off of Whirl.
Yep, that's true. So you attack for 18, and D-Prison's a great draw. That means you're going to get at least one more hit in with the D-Elk. In these top-decking situations, hitting removal like this is really good.
For sure.
Did you consider not D-Prisoning there?
No, my mills were bad for D-Elk. I think Cyber Valley's my only banished monster, so that's not what you want to do.
That's true. That's true. Now you do find a Raikou, though, so even if your D-Elk does die, you'll get another removal spell.
Yeah, that's good defense.
And his hand is Nobleman of Extermination, DD Crow, so drawing these main deck, sideboard cards, actually really punishing him this game with the Decree and the DD Crow and the Nobleman not really being effective top decks once the Blackwing deck has gotten into top deck mode.
Secure a chain just to preserve information.
Yep. And this is actually kind of nice for you. You banish the Legacy of Yatagarasu. I know you've mentioned showing that is a good thing, so that your opponent is more scared to blind Typhoon you.
Yeah, it's just a mind game.
Yeah.
So maybe he throws out his exterminations, makes the prison a bit better, bottomless as well.
So sideboarding for this deck in particular, do you have a specific plan, or is it more similar to the value?
Yeah, and this is the most practiced matchup for me, because, and I bring in Double Orb, I bring in my Freed. I decided Freed was just much better than side draw, because it's great for clearing a graveyard after a DDV. It's great for answering effects, like a Goyo off Blizzard, a Sirocco. And I have double my body as well, just to play around hit DDV. A lot of Dust Tornadoes just to hit Light Imprisoning.
My Body's a Shield also hits Icarus Attack as well, right? That's a huge blowout.
Yeah. The name of the game is basically just Protect Orb. If I can Protect Orb, it's pretty easy.
And it looks like you've got the combo in your hand, which is sick.
I mean, most of the lists would fold to this.
Yeah, that's true. They start off with Shura Set. How do you normally approach Shura Set in these positions? With this
reading the set as probably Icarus. I'm definitely not summoning Vario and Swing, because that loses to Kalut. And Another funny interaction is actually if you set Angel and Shura swings into Angel, because Angel is chain link 2, you can drop an orb to block Shura.
That's
So
true.
set Angel is one possibility. Normal summon consecrates like another one. I think I go for the orb play. Because he normal summons Shura, I block Sidra. Like orb and Deep Prison is just a good counter to if he has Ryo, if he has Dyna, anything weird.
Is there any consideration to whether or not you set the My Body? Are you holding it
Oh,
for the end phase
yeah, I
Icarus?
hold it. Yeah, exactly. I hold it to see if it's end phase Icarus, and then that's just a blowout if it is. But it's not. So now I know instead is not Icarus.
True. And so you're going to get a chance to, again, be in that situation. If he does set another back row, you're going to have to maybe, pass the turn again with My Body in hand? Is that how that works?
Well, my thing right now is I'm going to summon Angel and remove the Shura. Just makes Blizzard worse.
Facts. This is going to crash. You're going to take 400. You're going to get DD Warrior Lady. You're going to take 300. But this damage isn't going to matter because you have a floodgate.
Yes, that's like.
Yeah. And now because J4 did not set any back row, you can effectively set the My Body if you want to.
Yeah, I don't think I said here because I'm thinking maybe it's a ProStorm.
Yeah, maybe. It ends up being something quite different, but yeah.
Yeah.
And plus, he didn't have the Icarus last turn, so what are the chances he has it this turn, right? And you're pretty happy to see a set monster, right? Like, that just means you can start attacking and gaining card advantage right away.
Yeah, exactly. So the question is, do I lead with Ryo or Angel? And I lead with Ryo. The main two reasons. One is Ryo blocks Sidra, which actually I think he draws. And two is I have Angel Christia. So later if I have removal for his back row, I can go Angel Crash, drop Christia. Although the back is probably not Deep Prison, otherwise he would have used it earlier, but that's kind of my thinking as to holding Angel for and going with Ryo.
True. All right, we'll check and see if he draws Sidra next turn. So Thunder King's going to run over the Bora. He does draw Cyber Dragon, so having Thunder King plus Consecrated, again, it's like one of the strengths of this deck is the layers of interaction. You have a Floodgate here, you have a Negate here, and then you have, a trap card here, and they have to have outs for all three of these to even play the game, which is pretty crazy. Funny that he's also...
Have the Brancon, right?
He does. He could Braincon the orb and sacrifice it for Cyber Dragon. That would actually not be a bad play here. Let's see if he does that.
I think he Braincons the Ryo.
That makes sense too.
Because he has the key to force the attack through, so it's a good play by him. I didn't expect him to have the key in because I expect him to have Light Imprisoning and DDD.
Yep.
But once I saw a decree, it made me feel better.
Yeah, because now that you're played...
So I think this is a mistake.
What, going Goyo Guardian?
Yeah, I think it was a mistake for him to summon it in attack mode. He should have either summoned it in defense, just so I can't crash. I think the only punish for Goyo in defense is I take less damage with DD Warrior Lady, and if I have side draw. But he has his own side draw to follow up. Whereas now, he kind of gets boned by recruiting Crash into Christia, which is what I have.
Yeah, exactly. And that's probably just going to be the game because he's...
It's also funny that,
Yeah, he's put the decree up for you.
I was also going to say, going Ryo first was so important, because if he Braincon the Shining Yugioh, and now have Ryo in hand, I can't answer the Goyo. So just small sequencing stuff like that really makes a huge impact for the very deck.
Yeah, it forced his action.
If I sequence the normal summons differently, Angel first. Yeah, if I went with Angel first and Braincons the Angel, I kind of lose the game. It's like Christians are dead, Ryo does nothing against Goyo. So, yeah.
Yeah. Huge play sequencing and just good shit. Good shit. And he doesn't want to take the Shining Angel here, because if he takes the Shining Angel, then you just get carded.
Yeah, I just yeah.
Yep.
And his Braincon's dead too, so I don't have to worry about Braincon reversal on the Christia.
Yep, that's true. You can
special this. I get kind of boned if he has DD Clogir, but he doesn't. And it's actually funny, but I think it was a misplay getting the orb. If you look at my grave, I think it's 3 recruiters. I think getting a recruiter might have been safer, and you'll see why. I think this turn he draws Gale.
Yes.
So he has Christia, which is kind of annoying. And I actually realized I get screwed if he has Kalu.
Yeah. You do get screwed if he has Kalut.
'Cause
Thankfully, he does
I
not.
can't get my fourth story in the graveyard. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you would have gotten owned. I mean, you would still have Orb to kind of, like, chill on. But
But
he
then
has a...
what I was thinking was he can set a monster and then flip summon so Synchro for Dial, and I can't really stop that. Then I kind of lose.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Plus, you'd be down in life points 1,300, so Bryo would be lethal. Yeah. And you draw the
That's why I
third
draw my
Christian.
third Christia.
It's a little
It's
awkward.
funny, but
Yeah. That is the downside. I mean, you do see it more often, which obviously is mattering in this circumstance, but you also see it more often. You know what I mean? Yeah.
yeah, yeah. But overall, I mean, like I played so many games with Fairy, and I've won way more by seeing an early Christia than like not seeing it at all and just losing.
Yeah.
So for me, it's always worth playing the brick.
Yeah. I think this set here is kind of like funny because the only way he's actually coming back into this game is heavy storming his own Royal Decree. So he's just playing further into into his own heavy storm that he has to play. Did you ever consider like tribute summoning Christia here?
Yeah, I did consider that. I was actually considering tribute set, then special summoned other Christia.
That's also a line. Yes, that is probably better actually.
Yeah.
Why didn't you do that? Out of curiosity.
I think I was thinking about his possible outs at this point, right? He needs, because Christia blocks side draft. I think he would need exactly Book of Moon and then a normal summon. Honestly, I gave some thought. I can't remember why I didn't, but I was seriously considering it. Oh, I thought if he had Crow, because he had Crow game one. Sometimes people keep crowing. If he crows me, it's a bit awkward, but even with like the side Christia, but
Yeah.
yeah, because if he has like Bora Kalut, then my Christia gets stacked with like 3 in the graveyard. I was just thinking, how do I not lose from this position? Because it's just clearly winning. And yeah, I think all of his lines involve somehow sending Orb to the graveyard.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Because if your Orb gets crowed,
Now I'm
then
just-
you
yeah.
can't summon any of your Christias. You're kind of just screwed. So
Yeah.
you've got 1,400 Christia actually doing a ton of work because he's forced to set all of his monsters thanks to this Orb. And the Blackwing monsters aren't really known for their defense points, so
Yeah.
makes a lot of sense.
So now if I only draw another recruiter to pressure,
Yep. And
no
honestly,
respect for the back there. Yeah, it's
that's
easy.
really awkward. I mean, not that this would
Yeah.
do anything at this stage, but it's
Mhm.
it's kind of funny. Like, it really makes you think. Like, I think he should not have left this card in. Like,
Yeah, it definitely bit him more than it helped. The funny thing is, Orb works well under Light Imprising. So that's
yeah, it does.
here. I think I summoned the free.
Nope.
No, I don't. Can't remember why I played it a bit passive. I think I was just pretty much won the game now because his brain con was gone.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think the reason you would not summon the Freed also something like Lightning Vortex could be annoying. Just
Yeah, I have in my body stuff for weird stuff.
that
I
is
got
true.
a book, so
That's huge.
I booked the Christian.
Flip it, normal the Freed, and then this is just lethal. Nice. So, right now you're basically 4-0 versus the two most popular decks in the format, and you're probably feeling pretty good going into round 3. Is the fatigue
Yep,
hitting you yet? Is it hitting you yet, or is
I was a
it?
bit more awake. I was more awake. I was very hyped. I thought I played some tough opponents and played well. And yeah, I was excited to be moving on. The first 2 rounds are always the hardest in double with them because you don't want to drop to losers so early.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I always gain a lot of confidence winning the first couple of rounds. Then you feel like, oh yeah, this could be my day.
Yeah, true. Okay, the next round is up against Guari. Didn't Guari just win DDV2?
Yeah, he just won DDV too, so pretty stacked bracket. A lot of tournament winners, strong players, and I knew he was on Hero Frog. I thought I had a good matchup against it because I had the Mask of Restrict in the side, and I just know the Frog matchup really well.
Yeah.
It could still be tough, don't get me wrong, but if I see Herald and Christia, it's very hard for me to lose.
Yeah, this matchup I think it's not one of the easier matchups for fairies for sure. It's definitely one of those ones where there's a lot of things that could go wrong. But if you know the matchup, that goes a long way. In general, the frog matchup is more so knowing how to play against the deck than it is knowing how to play against the player because it is at the end of the day,
Yeah,
a pretty linear deck. So, how do you feel
for,
about
for sure.
your opening hand? You do get to go first, which in this matchup I think is really big, and you do see the
Yeah,
Christia.
so I set the Ryko.
Yeah.
It's I'm hoping to get the Ryko mill, see how many I mill. I have freed for graveyard control. Herald to stop a Monarch play. I set the Dusk because I know he's on Treacherous. And maybe the Spades and Misty or Storm.
This is a little awkward. Not the best thing to Ryko, but if you do mill two fairies, do you consider heralding this, Stratos?
No, because I need to save the Herald for a higher impact play.
That
And if I
makes
do
sense.
Herald it, I can't really pressure because
Yeah,
I know he has multiple faders. I'm not swinging into fader or Thors until I drop the Christia. So my game plan now is, try to drop Christia ASAP with Herald backup, then he loses.
yeah, that makes sense. Get the Christia plus the Herald. You did mill one fairy, so you're only one fairy off, and your Freed is also live, which is pretty good. Are you thinking
Yeah.
summon DD Warrior Lady and swing, or are you
So I'm
thinking...
thinking, do I set or do I swing, right? Like, and I was thinking, if he has Gores, I could Herald it. I also have Freed online to stop that. And if he does Fader Monarch, I do have the Herald to stop that as well. So I think I get a bit aggressive and I actually summon the Warrior Lady here.
That's a smart play. I like this play because, again, the way you're winning game one, at least, is you are the
You have to
aggressor.
press him. Yeah,
Yeah, you can't let them get set up because the second they have like multiple monsters in play, the second they're going for substitute stuff, that's when you're getting kind of owned. Like repeat.
yeah. I mean, he doesn't have true one. So if he does Fader Monarch, I have Herald for that and Temple. So I think I'm in a good position.
This is a tough
He
one.
goes 1 for 1 here. Yeah.
Yep. Pitch is a
So it's an
substitute,
easy, yeah.
which
So it's an
means
easy Herald on some.
yeah, it is going to be an easier herald on some. But I'm really curious here. He pitches a substitute. That means on the previous turn he either had 1 for 1 or substitute. I'm assuming it was 1 for 1. And he still chose to go for Stratos instead of getting his Treeborn in the grave. That's
Maybe he didn't have any Monarchs in hand.
That's actually he has
I
double
probably also
dupe.
would have.
He has
Yeah.
double
I
dupe.
probably,
That's
I probably would have stormed also because you don't want to lose to oppression.
yeah, that's true. Yeah, not using the storm is a bit greedy, I would say. Although he maybe has the read that the back row does nothing. It's not a bottomless or a deep prison because you might have used that on the Stratos, perhaps. But yeah, I do think this is an easy herald. You don't know that he doesn't. He has the other dupe in hand, and you also don't know.
He actually runs 3 dupes.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. And now you're
He
pretty.
also could have just he also could have just normal summoned the dupe and ended
Yeah,
because DD Warrior Lady clears the dupe, but I can't clear the sub
yeah,
unless I have another Warrior Lady. So
yeah. That would have actually like forced you to out the Warrior Lady instead of going 2 for 1 into or 2 for 2 into the Herald of Orange Light. Yeah. Huh. Very
so this
interesting.
is an easy summon Nova swing.
Is it
or-
Summon Nova Swing?
Actually, no, I'm thinking back to okay, why did I do it? Yes, I remember now because I can't afford to let the Nova get Monarch. Now I don't have any protection from Monarchs.
Yes.
So if he drops Fader Monarch really bones me. I still have free to come back, but I'm thinking if I can, he also has junk, so he can go Catastor, right? I'm thinking like I save the Nova, drop the Christia, and then that's how I win. So I can't let the Nova get banished or
Yeah, I was thinking actually maybe go for Summon Freed attack with both. Because does it affect your clock? I think it does. It means that the next turn Summon Nova attack is a game. And then also it means that next turn you could also just tribute summon the Christia if he does nothing.
Yeah, I think. Do I just pass here? Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe Summon Freed was probably correct.
Yeah, because
He does have. He has Malicious Edge in hand, so I guess Prodigy, Malicious, Renovate Freed is aligned, but then I can just crash Nova Summoner, drop Christia, main phase 2. And,
yeah.
yeah, it's probably correct. That's a Summon Freed there.
So here comes the Heavy Storm. Here comes Rhoda. This is probably going to grab Junk Synchron. Yep. Junk can make Catastor here.
Yeah, she's actually pretty good.
Yeah, this is a pretty good spot for him. Now, when you banish cards, you're thinking about banishing the Ryko and the DD Warrior Lady, right?
Yeah, well, it depends on what I draw.
Yeah, that's true. So you find Solemn. This is an out to a Monarch, but
Yeah, it's really strong here. So I think I set Nova, I set Solemn.
Yep.
I
The,
want him to attack into the Nova.
yep. And if he does go for a Monarch play, you can always just Solemn it, get your 2 for 1.
Yeah.
Looks like that's
So
going to
I
be the
don't think he
case.
should attack because I was at 3 fairies. He should have just passed and switched capacity to defense, honestly.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a mistake. That was very much a
Now he,
mistake.
yeah, now
Th-
he just loses because I have Solemn back up, Freed, Pop, Caster. And this is also why I like Freed. You know, if I had Soul here, I can't out his dude.
I was thinking, actually, you maybe should have activated Dimensional Alchemist before specialing the Christia. It might have informed you a little bit better to what you wanted to add back. I mean, 99% of the time you're just adding back Heralds, but you might
Yeah.
want to.
And I was pretty confident in using Freed to banish from Menace. So,
Yeah, you could use Freed to pop your own Alchemist.
yeah.
Yeah,
But I needed to clear the Catastor.
yeah, yeah. That's true. They do get to search for Treeborn, but that's kind of too little, too late. Public enemy number
Yeah,
1
it's
is
just
in
too
play.
much pressure.
Yeah. And your engine is like super, super online now. Like you have Dialk Christia. Even if the Christia gets banished, you can get it back with Dialk. The Freed can pop anything that's too big. You have Herald Gores. You have Solemn in case anything goes wrong. I mean, this game is just done. Like there's no coming back from this. Attack the set is Treeborn, and we're gonna be going to game 2. So yeah,
I actually misplayed. I shouldn't have banished for DL cures. Just extra information.
yeah, that's true.
It's just force of habit.
Yeah, you were thinking maybe they could somehow stop the attack. Nah, yeah, definitely
No, it's
shouldn't
just
have.
force of habit to use DL. Yeah.
True, true. Going into game 2, what are you siding in against Frogs? You said you had the Mask of Restricts.
Yeah, I bring in the second Freed because I know some lists they like to play Solex Vanity, and Vanity's Fiend is actually kind of annoying for Fairy to deal with. Because usually I side out the Deprisons, the Storm, and whatnot. And I think there's nothing else I bring in. Um, yeah, I keep the books to stop junk synchron plays, to stop Duplock, and just the Mask of Restrict and hope to see that card.
That makes sense. Yeah, I do like Book of Moon in this matchup, actually. Especially post board if you have the masks.
E-controller, yeah.
Yep. And there it is. Mask of Restrict in your opening hand. He will get a chance to go first and do some things, but it looks like he...
So he passes.
Yeah.
I think he has Gores, and just easy not to attack here.
Yeah. Are you going Mask of Restrict into potentially known backer removal, or are you trying to bait the backer removal first with one of these other plays?
I set Mask at the beginning. So I know Solex is another popular side, so chain Mask to Solex is good. I actually summon Valley first here. Can't remember the same thing exactly. Oh yeah, I was thinking because I don't want Dialk to miss. If Dialk misses and he summons Stratos or something, it just kind of sucks.
That's true.
So
That's
leading
true.
with Valley first guarantees Dialk is live.
Yeah, that makes sense. Let's see what the draw is. Shining Angel. That's a
So draw
great
Angel
draw.
here.
Yeah. Just activate.
There's just no reason to attack. Because it's most likely a dupe. So I don't want to take 600 damage for no reason.
Yep. Do
And
you...
yeah, so last turn I didn't flip masks. I wanted bait Solex. But this turn I think I flip it. Because, yeah, I don't want a Monarch coming down.
Yeah, if a Monarch comes down, then you kind of get owned. You'd have to herald it, and it's just
Yeah, kind of a Monarch. Yeah.
very awkward. He sets the evil guy. That's an interesting play. I'm also kind of curious why he didn't attack your Cyber Valley with the Treeborn Frog.
Yeah, I guess he could have. That wouldn't have been bad at all.
Yeah, but alas,
Because
here we
getting
are.
the 2 draws was just really helpful. Yeah.
Yeah,
It turns 2 like kind of useless cards into just digging deeper for Christia, for the turn, the power cards, yeah.
exactly. Dialk is your pressure
I
of
would say
choice.
really,
Are you going to attack the
yeah,
new set?
because I have return. I'm still not attacking because there's just nothing to really gain from attacking.
That's true. Even if it is Treeborn, I mean, it can just come back next turn, so there's no real reason to
Yeah.
attack into stuff. And now that you found Solemn, that means your Mask of Restrict is looking quite good. Do you just like full commit here, or
Yeah, I full commit, but I misplaced setting which cards. I should have held return. Because I forgot he plays Junk Synchron, so Book of Moon is actually a good piece of interaction here.
That's true. You would be probably forced to use, well,
But I'm also thinking, I have DL, I have a decent Vanish pile now, and so if I see something good, I can return Bryo and just kill him.
yeah, that's true. Like, if you see a Christia, or if you see a, what's that other card? DD Warrior Lady, that's another card that could help you sort of poke through this stuff. Yep.
So he could have gone Black Rose here, and I had the Live Herald, but it probably would have been better to book the Junk Synchron and save the Herald for something else. But I let the Catastrophe go through. I hold my Bottomless because I want to save it for a future threat, and I know it can get back freed. Freed will be online soon. Then return is good again.
Are you counting on him attacking
Thank you.
attacking into your set Shining Angel like he did in the previous game? Are you counting on that happening?
Yeah, he actually makes a good play where he swings with the Duke first. That was a good heads-up play.
Yeah, I like that play a lot from him. Because this kind of fucks you.
What?
Did you think about
Yeah.
torrentialing when he flipped it or not?
No, like I'm a greedy player. I'm waiting for him to drop a Monarch and torrentialing to get a big plus. Especially now that he has double Duke.
Yep. That's true. You can freed pop this.
Here it's a freed pop.
Yeah. Your Herald.
Now I'm just waiting for him to. Herald is dead, but that's okay.
Yeah, because you have the torrential for the big plus on the Monarch anyway.
Yeah, and I have Mask blocking, so he needs removal and then Monarch and a torrential to blow up his field. So then I have a juicy return.
Plus, he actually has to discard here if he doesn't make a play. Okay, he's going to
Yeah.
set the evil guy. Gores in case things go south. I mean, your hand is really stacked, and your back row is really stacked too, so.
Yeah, it's just hard to lose at this point. This is when I wish I had the book set just to block Black Rose here. But he doesn't actually go for Black Rose, which is a bit strange.
Yeah.
I think he goes for a second Catastor.
He might be scared of Road, but I'm not sure. I guess he wanted to keep the dupe block in case things go south.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. I can't really out it efficiently right now.
And at this point,
So
using the
I
bottomless...
definitely bottomless.
Yeah, because you need to keep your board. You can't let this Catastrophe stick around.
Yeah.
Here's the second freed. Herald not quite online, but you do get a set now one of these two back row. Are you going to set the book now, or are you going to...
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I set the book too.
Yep. And that'll interrupt the synchro plays. If he summons Junk Sync...
Yeah, I was just waiting to draw Christia, because once I draw Christia, then the line is probably eventually Herald, pitch Christia, use Freed, return, and kill him.
Yeah. So you could honestly set the monster. Next turn you can go into the whatever Bryonic and then pop your own Bryonic and then go from there.
Yeah, so
basically.
he summons sub, and now it's a pretty easy book play.
Yep. Book, flip the DD Warrior Lady, banish the other Dupe Frog. Can't activate the sub because of the Mask of Restrict. This Book of Moon and DD Warrior Lady is going to get you a 2 for 2. You're going to be able to clear the dupe and the sub. That's part of the reason why Book of Moon is so good, especially in tandem with the Mask of Restrict here.
Oh, yeah. And I said bottomless. I don't want to set oppression, because oppression kills my return.
Yeah, definitely don't want to play into your own game plan. Very smart. Going to activate Rhoda. Find another Junk Synchron. So here comes Junk Synchron.
This is when he...
You could have maybe chained Torrential to this, couldn't you have? I guess you don't really
Yeah,
want to do that.
I was thinking about it, but I felt he was gonna. He already went through 2 Catasters. I thought he was probably gonna make a Black Rose play now, then a Herald, and I thought that was better and keep the Torrential.
Yeah. Yeah, he's at the point where he just has to Black Rose to try and get through your back row, and it's just not going to work out. And his deck doesn't play Pot of Avarice, or these Hero Frog decks don't usually play Pot of Avarice, so now that you've gone through the 2 Ally of Justice and the Black Rose, that's like basically all of the synchro threats left. And now Mask of Restrict should be good to just like beat the rest of the deck, other than like Miracle Fusion, which Christia can handle, basically.
And Freed handles too. So I'm thinking if I can go Freed, banish Ab-Zero, and then or pop Ab-Zero, then flip a return for lethal. He drops scores here, so easy main phase 2 Freed pop.
Yep. And now
Yeah,
you're
Freed was, I think, my MVP for the weekend. It went +1 every single round.
yeah, this card's insane. It's actually so good. The very first iteration of the deck in like 2010 that we played had triple freed 0 Christia. Which obviously in hindsight is not good, but we were basing it around like, oh, this card's a normal summon monarch with that doesn't take a tribute, more or less.
Yeah.
Here comes the Miracle Fusion. Do you care about this Miracle Fusion? That's the real question.
Yeah, if you check my graveyard, my second Freed actually isn't live. So I have the bottomless here.
Yep, that makes sense. That makes sense. He's gonna chain book
So
and
he
then
bought. I chained Torrential because I actually can't clear a set at 0. And I was
yep,
thinking, if he has a second Miracle, it's annoying. I'll probably have to solemn that.
yeah, that's true. But then he'd be down to 3 cards, and you still have the lethal
Yeah.
return. So
Yeah.
it would have to be specifically Miracle then Heavy Storm, more or less.
Yeah. And if he has Heavy Storm, then I draw 4s.
Yep. So you're fine. Here comes the return, and that's just gonna be the game.
Yeah.
Very, very, very well sequenced. I think the way you waited on the bottomless early on was super good. The way you maximized your frees was super good. And your game plan of getting a Christia banished and then going for a return OTK was also super good because this deck that you're playing against, the Frog deck, their biggest weakness is that they play very few trap cards. So you know you can just flip this for 8k at any point and the game ends, more or less.
Yeah, totally.
3-0 going into round 4. Round 4, you get to play against Xeris, who up until this match had never lost a match on Dueling Book.
Yeah, he's a strong opponent. He's a really strong player. And Zombies, like, you think Xeris is favored, but it's actually, I think, pretty close to 50-50. That's the funny thing with the Fairy deck. I don't think any matchup is heavily favored, except maybe Black Wings. But everything is, like, pretty even. You don't have any bad matchups, and everything is pretty much a coin flip.
Yeah. I mean, I can definitely see that. It's honestly the most insane bracket I've ever seen. You played against tourney winner, Swedish Blackwing Inventor, tourney winner, and now tourney winner. So
Yeah.
you played against 3 first place players so far. Let's see how this one goes. This was probably one of the most hyped matches of the entire tournament. We covered this one on stream, I believe, but it's gonna be cool to see your perspective on it because there was a lot that went down in this specific match. He was on Diva Zombies, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if he did have Diva, but he's also on the Ryko Chaos Sorcerer package,
Yeah,
which is actually quite good. Ryko, Lila, Chaos Sorcerer are good cards against Fairy.
Yeah, they are good cards against Fairy. The Lightsworn stuff is effective there. The only thing is like you don't normally see the Lightsworn stuff because you can A, mill your Divas, and B, you only have really 2 good mills in the whole deck, which is like Mizuki and Plague. And if you mill them, then it means you don't have great searches for your Bryo play. So it's kind of like, it's not bad.
Yeah, it also means he probably doesn't provide Light Imprisoning.
Yep, that too. So your opening hand, you have double Christia, you have DD Warrior Lady. You have a lot of starters. Which one of these starters are you going to go for? Did you know what deck he was on?
Yeah, I knew he was definitely playing Zombies. I think I laid DD Warrior Lady. It plays in a bottomless, unfortunately, but I can't set a Recruiter and just lose to Caius.
Yeah.
So I just need to banish.
I think this is a good play too, because even if he does have bottomless, you have Dialk, so it just turns on your Dialk.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
Yeah, like you'll take that trade. Like you'll take bottomless for DD Warrior Lady when you have Dialk and Christia coming. So I think that's good. You have Solemn for whatever else happens that might kill you. Solemn's kind of a dangerous card in this matchup because they can
you don't want to use it and get OTK'd.
Yeah, pretty much. As they can double level 6 kill you really easily after you've used Solemn, so you have to be pretty careful of it. Does this mill a fairy? Tell me right now, does it mill a fairy?
I can't remember.
Nah, it doesn't. That's not a bad mill for you, though. I don't think you really want to draw it in this position. Maybe you did.
Yeah, I mean, it stops a level 6 thing for him, but yeah, this turn was, I guess, a bit controversial. I summoned a Dialk.
Oh yeah. This was the turn where I got YCS topping players in my chat like griefing me for enforcing the rules. So you activate this.
And in the heat of in the moment, like I thought something was weird. Like I think something missequenced, but I was still like pretty tired and sleepy, so I didn't react fast enough.
Yeah,
And
no,
then yeah,
both of y'all like
but it,
were totally understanding when the play was incorrect. So he sends Goblin Zombie to the graveyard. He activates Goblin Zombie, and then you thumbs up, and then he activates Tragodia after he activated the Goblin Zombie. So it's kind of like you would
you
not.
have to do tag first. Mhm.
You have to do the Trag effect first because in most cases like this wouldn't actually matter, but specifically in this matchup, this does matter because this is a Herald check, right? If you
Yeah,
herald
yeah.
if you herald the Goblin Zombie here, there's a chance he doesn't drop the Trag because then he might not have a level 4 to search or whatever. So like it actually matters. And just in general, once you've activated the Goblin Zombie, like you've passed the phase in which you can activate Tragodia. So um he can't.
Compare the game state, but
Yeah, it gets repaired at this moment.
yeah, get prepared.
We
So
just
what
go
sucks
back.
is, yeah, what sucks is I had to set the deprison because, um, yeah, I was going to take a lot of damage next turn. And then once we repaired the situation, I was thinking, do I take the deprison back? But then that's a lot of information given away on my end. And I was thinking, yeah, I'd really lose the storm here. So which he does have.
Yeah, yeah. And
Uh,
honestly, either way, this was gonna be a tough turn
yeah, I
because
think I was gonna lose this game because he had Mindcon, and that's usually what kills me.
yeah, mind
So he plays
control's
Storm, and yeah,
super broken. Yeah,
yeah. So I don't stall him the Storm because that's just gonna kill me. But once he flips Call, I actually have to stall him
yep,
because the line I see is he already searched Flag, right?
yep,
If he Goblin Zombie searches Zombie Master, then he can make Revive King Hades, and then I just lose. My hand just loses to Hades. So
yep.
I have to stall him and pray he doesn't have Mindcon or BrainCon. But I probably should have read he had the Mindcon because he searched Flag. Um, I was just debating, did he search Flag because he had the call or did he have the Mind or BrainCon? So yeah,
Yeah, tough one. That was actually a tough one, and it ended up getting you kind of owned, and you don't draw an out to the Brownic, and that's just gonna be the game. Um,
yeah. I think if I top deck the Herald there, I could stabilize potentially. But yeah, I was probably gonna lose that one.
yep. Yeah, pretty much. That was a tough one. He just had like the right stuff, and that's kind of what you're talking about with zombies in general. It is kind of a coin flip in some senses. Sometimes they just have like the ability to like clear your floater, and then actually a large part of this matchup when I'm playing it comes down to who can clear the other person's floating monster. Because
Oh, of course, yeah.
if you can clear their floating
And not
monster,
playing into torrential.
what's up?
And not playing into torrential.
Yes, exactly. If you
Yeah.
play into torrential on either side, it's like that can usually be a nail in the coffin sort of deal. Okay, moving into game two, what do you normally side for this matchup?
I bring in the Rios. The reason I don't main deck the Rios is because I want to play them bottomless. And I expect him to side out the bottomlesses. So Rio gets better.
True, true, makes
Here,
sense.
I think I lead on the DD Warrior Lady.
You did draw return, so DD Warrior Lady getting banished is a good thing for you. Was there any consideration to leading on Thunder King, or do you like holding this in this matchup?
I like holding it because if he has Goblin Zombie and he sees Thunder King, he just plays differently. So I want to preserve that information.
True. You do kind of get knocked
And
here.
not, yeah, yeah. I didn't know he had knock, but he does. So he gains the tempo advantage.
Yep.
But now he summons the Goblin Zombie, so I'm thinking, okay, we get a +1 next turn.
He does mill a Christia too. If you can ever banish that, your return's going to be insane.
Totally, yeah.
This is a good time for Trap Dust Shoot because he has, he's going to have exactly 4 cards in hand.
Yeah, it's a good top deck. He has Interruption, though. Buck of Moon, I believe.
Yep, he does have the Book of Moon. This
I
is
was hoping for
actually
Bottomless or Deep Prison.
this is actually
Because it makes return better. But,
the
yeah.
first Trap Dust Shoot of the whole tournament for you in game 2,
Yeah.
round 4. Kind of crazy.
Broken card.
Yeah, it hasn't come up in any of the matches beforehand, but here it's going to do some work. You're going to be able to Dust Shoot. Xeris has Diva, Turtle, Dad, and Return from the Different Dimension. Which of these cards did you take and why?
So I was thinking, like, do I take Diva or Turtle, right? With, if I let him keep Diva, I can Herald, but then I have no follow-up play. Whereas if I spin Diva, he's gonna summon Turtle and double swing. Then I can Brink on and make a level 6. So that's all I'll play for me. So that's kind of what I did.
Yep. And so he's left with Dad and Return, both of which are just pretty dead right now. The knock didn't really do much to help promote his game plan, even though it did
he
clear
gets a bit of pressure though. Yeah.
Yeah. You do take a little bit of damage, but that's totally fine. And finding a second Herald's actually not bad.
Yeah, it's good. It protects me from like Caius and. So here, actually, if you pause, I'm thinking: do I make Bryo or do I make Croesus? Because Bryo gets boned by Drancon, but to check my grave, it's 2 fairies right now. So I'm thinking, I think the whole deck has 15 fairies or so left in the deck. If I top deck another fairy next turn, I can just drop double fairy with Bryo, drop Christia, and just win. So that's why I go for Bryo, and he would literally need to top deck Drancon.
Yeah, because you know the 2 cards in hand.
Yeah.
Put him on a 1 in 34 out, and you're saying, okay, you have a whatever % chance that is to be in this game. Or 1 in 33, because he does get the Goblin Zombie Search here as well.
Yeah. Well, for me, it's like I probably have like 15 fairies, so like close to 50% of just winning next turn.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a risk I decided to take.
We don't know what he top decks, but he is going to set Goblin Zombie and pass. If I was him, I would have probably set the Return too, just to force Bryonic to discard 2 cards.
I probably wouldn't hit the back row, to be honest, in that case.
Yeah.
So yeah, here it's interesting. Do I bounce the monster or do I swing? I'm checking his grave. He only has 1 dark right now, so Dad still isn't online. And the only way he gets the 3rd dark is with Braincon. So I think I swing here.
Was there any consideration to actually just flipping this Return?
Yeah, I was doing the math. I don't think it was lethal.
Well, because what you could do is you could flip Return, and then you could
and then
bounce. Bounce the monster, or you could not.
But
bounce
I thought
the
at this point, I was thinking at this point, I'm only losing to Braincon.
That's true. That's true.
Even Braincon doesn't do it, right? Because I have Herald and Bottomless to stop Dad. So I feel pretty good about this, and I'll be going to game 3.
And Braincon,
I'm pretty sure he top like Braincon the very next turn.
Braincon guaranteedly kills you through if you tribute summon Christia. Whereas if he Braincon's Bryonic, you can at least do some stuff. And does he top deck the Braincon? He does.
Yeah, he top deck the Braincon.
That's very, very unlucky.
He had the Goris the previous turn too, so actually Bryo Bounce was probably losing.
Yeah, that's true. He had ripped the Gores. Dang, kind of crazy.
And so here, like I probably should have thought a bit longer. Like, do I Herald the Bryo? Because I got a bit greedy, and it was a bad play. I should have heralded the Bryo. I was thinking like, I don't want to get 3 for 1. But yeah, it was just a bad play on my part. I was just kind of a bit salted, to be honest, because I knew that Braincon was tough per turn.
Yeah.
And I was like, great, Dad's online, and he's not going to be stupid and drop Dad into back row. He's going to clear with Bryo, and I should have heralded the Bryo, but I was just mad I didn't. And then I thought, I lost.
If you herald the Bryo,
then just the Dad, and I'm still in it.
Yeah, but you 50-50 on losing your Return, which sucks.
Yeah.
And it's actually probably a little bit more than 50-50 because you're protecting that back row with Herald. So he's probably going to target the other back row, which is...
Yeah, he's a smart player. He targeted the new back row first, so...
Yeah.
And then now I'm doing the math. It's like, yeah, I have to Herald this and just pray.
Yep. He goes for Dark Armed. You have to let this resolve. You can't afford to return here because if you do, he'll just pop the DD Warrior Lady and attack for game.
Yeah. So I'm dead to topping Freed and 2 DD Warrior Ladies. I think I have 2 Freeds in post board, just to deal with Hades and Synchros.
Yep. You also have Christia as an out.
Yeah, and Christia, but I've already gone through 2. So I think I have 2 DD Warrior Lady, 2 Freed, and Christia, so that's 5. 5 out of 30 dupe. I thought, hey, if you top deck the 1 outer, like I can do it also.
Yep, and it looks like you did. So top deck for top deck, that's very, very good for you here. That's going to clear the Dark Arm.
I still lose to a lot.
You do.
I lose to Tomato, I lose to Zombie, I lose to like anything that gets on the bottomless.
Book of Life kills you.
Yeah.
Honestly, Plague is a 2-turn clock. Like,
Yeah.
But he finds Caius, dude. That's so crazy. The one card he can't play in his whole deck. Here comes misclick number one of the tournament.
Yeah, I meant to set the storm, but after I revealed it, it's like, yeah, there's no point in setting it. So
He picks up another card he can't play, the second Caius. So after getting his one outer, he's kind of getting two outed, but in the opposite direction, where it's like,
it's actually good I didn't draw a monster because I probably would have swung into Guari's and just lost.
yeah, probably true. Probably true. You pick up Solemn, so this is actually going to keep you alive against top deck monster. Now you're safe against basically any one of the recruiters. He needs two ways. I guess the way you're really dying is... I don't know, actually. I don't think you can die to any one top deck here, given his hand.
The whole time just see us so live, so like, it can turn around quickly as well. It's funny because he sets Call of the Haunted, which turns off his Gores, and then I top deck a monster.
That's insane. That's so funny, because now, if he tries to call a monster, it could get locked up if he tries to stack it for Caius or something.
Yeah.
That's so funny. If I was him, I probably wouldn't have set the call, honestly.
Yeah, I just hope to win off the Gores.
Yeah, because the Gores is like a guarantee, right? Like any monster attacking you just...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although if he still didn't set, I probably wouldn't swing. Just because, 4 cards in hand, no cards on field, it's probably a Gores.
Yeah, and also he hasn't played anything the last 3 turns, so what could it possibly be? Yeah, of course.
So he misplays this turn. He goes call for Caius, just going for it. But his misplay is he summons Caius and immediately says target itself. Usually, like when I play with Rogue, we always say, negate the summon. Then I have to decide, do I solemn? But no, he just summoned Caius as the target itself, so it's just super easy to bottomless.
Yeah.
And save my solemn.
Yeah, and the Solemn's going to keep you safe from something like crazy, like mind control, of course.
Yeah, and Zrio blocks zombie, so now the tides have turned.
Yeah. Yeah. So
And I just draw 2 turn clock.
a little bit of a mistake from him. I don't know if it would have mattered. Would it have mattered?
He would get a search off Goblin Zombie.
Well,
Why would be?
Why would he
Well,
get
it
a search?
depends on what he targets.
Because wouldn't you have
Yeah.
just solemned the Caius?
Yeah, but then I lose the solemn, right? So,
You lose the solemn, but the solemn isn't doing anything else beyond that, right? Like
yeah, but it's better to have solemn in this case than bottomless set. So, but yeah. Anyways, I get in for damage, and now he's pretty much toast.
yeah.
I'm up on tempo.
And you have the solemn to stop anything that might try and reversal you, like a synchro play maybe. Thunderkin can also negate a synchro play. He found Raikou and Diva. Diva doesn't really do it in his deck because he doesn't have Gilman, and even if he did have Gilman, like you would just negate with Thunder King. And then Raikou doesn't do it either. I'm trying to think, like, if you had used the solemn instead of the bottomless, you're probably still winning this game, right? Like, it makes no difference.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. I think it makes no difference. So even though it was a little bit of a mistake from Xeris, because you have the solemn, I mean, like, it's just a win regardless. And this Raikou can only pop 1 card, and you've got 2 lethal threats, and that's going to be the game. So we're moving into game 3. So the first 2 games, a little bit of tension, honestly. A couple of strange circumstances where if the play had been a little bit tighter, it maybe could have changed the outcome of things. But I think in both game 1 and game 2, the misplays didn't necessarily matter.
Yeah, I think it was pretty much determined in both cases.
Yeah, how do you normally, like, before we get into game 3, how do you normally untilt yourself when you're faced with a mistake that maybe you've made or your opponent's made or something? How do you get yourself out of that tilted mindset? Because this is something that I think a lot of players, myself included, struggle with.
Honestly, it's just short-term memory. I was just super happy I somehow won that game, so I completely forgot about the misplay, and I was just happy we were going to game 3, to be honest.
Yeah, you hit your lucky top deck. He hit his lucky top deck, but he bricked 1 turn too many, and you're able to go to game 3, which is sick. That was a really close game. That game could have gone either way very easily.
Yeah, this game is pretty tight too. It's he opens like some pretty good spells. I think Allure and Charge.
Yep, there's the charge, and he does mill a Mizuki, which is, again, one of the 2 good mills in the whole deck, which is pretty lucky. However, he also does
But
mill
he
his heavy
loves Storm.
storm. Yeah,
So I love seeing that. I didn't mind the Mizuki, honestly.
well, the Mizuki's not live,
The lure
so
was like, yeah. The
yeah,
lure was like, yeah, that's pretty good.
yeah. He's able to see 12 cards on the first turn of the game. Pretty nice, actually. That's probably the
Yeah.
best two starter spells you could have in the whole deck. He sets Raikou, not trying to mix you up with any of the other cards he could potentially. Oh, he has no other cards he could set. Interesting. Looks like he did keep in the knock because it did win. One of the things I do when I have knocks in my deck is I'll often side them out in game 3 if they worked in game 2 because people will play around them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they were mostly dead this game. So yeah, I don't summon into Raikou. I have two chainables. So I just set the two chainables and cast.
Yeah. Let's see if he flips the Raikou into the chainables. Looks
So I'm
like
thinking from him, he's probably he has return set, right? So he's hoping to mill a zombie and go for a big play, and he doesn't want to play into torrential. So I get his line of going for the Raikou.
well, honestly, I'm surprised he didn't chain return and bring back the Reaper and just take a
Yeah,
card out
I
of your hand.
thought he should have. Yeah, pay 4,000 to go. I guess zero, neutral on card advantage, because now it's a -1 strictly.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a little bit of an interesting choice. I mean, 4,000's that's a lot of life points. Don't get me wrong. But being able to knock a card out of the hand is not bad. Does he have a conversion for it?
No, he does. I mean, he can tribute for Cyber Dragon, but probably don't want to do that.
If he
Yeah,
hits a
maybe he can. He can
monster,
tribute for Cyber Dragon, then he turns on Mizuki.
yeah. Yeah, he does actually have conversion, so maybe he's just scared of like certain things, but I think that the
He
aggressive
might be scared
line.
of torrential. Yeah.
Well, if he's scared of torrential, you still chain return. Reaper summoned is summoned.
Yeah, it's still replicable. Yeah.
Yeah, it plays through torrential. You can't actually torrential on the Reaper summon. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
So,
Yep. Okay. Where are we going? He doesn't chain the return. He says, fuck it, I want my life points. And then you set your return off the Dust Tornado. The reason you do this is because there's a good chance.
Storm is gone.
Yeah. There's also a good chance you might want this in play to either, I don't know, force a Bryonic pitch or potentially be live next turn.
Yeah, well, I was just thinking Storm was gone, so there's like no risk of setting it.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Here comes Raikou Poke. Big damage. And then set 2 more. He sets 2 bluffs here. Did you have any reads on these sets at all, or were you just thinking, fuck
No,
it?
I had no idea. I was just gonna, I have like a lot of normal summons now, so I'm just gonna see what they are.
Yeah? So you go Shining Angel attack. He gives you the thinking bluff and then the thumbs up. I like it. I like it. Some of his sideboard cards here, the Soul Taker, the Knock, and the Cyber Dragon, these are all really interesting. Huh. If he specials a Cyber Dragon, yeah, you want to do this before using the Soul Taker to play around bottomless.
And also just summon this Hydra.
Yeah, Soul Taker's kind of good. It's going to turn on his Book of Life. He is going to keep playing around Mirror Force and Torrential. And this was kind of the case in the first match as well that we watched. Your opponents were playing pretty scared of sweepers. But if they had just pressed...
Well, the set legacy here is just nice, right? Because he's probably reading, steps 2 back row into Raikou. One of them could be Torrential. And he loses pretty bad to Torrential here, right? So...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he plays a little conservatively. You do gain 1,000, so taking 21 is not as bad as it normally would be. And then he does commit the Goblin Zombie. All right, what happens now?
So I want to get Fruit online. I have Herald with Honest. I have Cyber Valley in my deck, so I'm just Angel Crash, make Chimera attack.
Yep, that's the safe line. It gets you your +1 straight up, and this is another reason why having the Cyber Valley in the deck is so good. If people want to bring out Cyber Dragon against you, you get to just steal it for free with any recruiter. You get the 2,000 Chimera Tech, and now you have Herald plus... that's it.
Yeah, Life Raid, and a return.
So what's crazy here is he could go for something. Like, he could straight up go for something.
Yeah. But I have Herald to stop any crazy plays.
Yeah.
I think he goes for a Goyo here. But I mean, like, as a zombie player, are you really committing into two back row, like, all in? Like, my life is too high.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, because of the Book of Life extender, I might have considered even going for, like, the Hades. Right?
Yeah.
I feel like making Hades is just a little bit better here. Because you can Book of Life that back, and that's a threat for the rest of the game.
Yeah, Hades is I can't handle it either.
And it's not like Goyo's taking the Chimera tech, because it must... How does it work?
No, you can take it.
You
But
can
he
take
didn't
it.
declare it, so I did like give it to him. And then he says, yeah.
He says, can I not take it? Okay, yeah. Yep, there it is. So he does take it. He
Yeah.
gets, but like taking this as opposed to having like a floating Revive King is, especially because he has the Call of the Haunted now too. Like Goyo's not, it's not as good as having Revive King here. At least I think it's not. I don't know. I could be wrong.
So now my read is the first set, in the middle is like, but the second one is new, so I have no idea what that is.
Yeah.
And yeah, this is just easy, drop free, Xeris board.
Yep. And then it turns on your return as well. You ask for
Yeah.
negations. No negations. This is going to pop the Goyo. Now, if this was a Revive King, another reason that I kind of like it here is you wouldn't have been able to out this with something like a DD Warrior Lady or Crash Recruiter. You would be
He
forced.
is really narrowly out.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you have the free regardless, but had you had it, had he made Revive King instead, he would not have this Chimera Tech, but he would have a more resilient threat to some of the stuff you could have gone for, basically.
Although Hades loses harder to block because it's zero defense, but
That is true.
yeah.
That is true. That is true. Okay, Freed's gonna run
Not
over.
pretty good. He doesn't have bottomless. I feel like his back rows are just bluffs. And I'm up 6-5 going second, so
And you have
I feel
Herald.
pretty good here.
You do have Herald. Your only piece of interruption is Herald, but
Yeah,
yeah.
that's all I need.
Here comes Zombie Master. No priority. Just gonna attack the Freed. And you're gonna use Honest and Calc. Is there a reason you use the Honest here?
Yeah, I just I don't have a good way to clear the zombie master, to be honest. I don't want to like crash the warrior lady into it, and I felt like his back row are a bit weak, so I wanted to press here.
Yeah. I mean, outside of Book of Life, keeping the Freed in play too, post-battle phase, is actually insane. It basically says Xeris can't go for anything bigger than Freed in main phase 2, or else the Freed can just pop it for free, unless, of course, he has specifically Book of Life. So, that's pretty crazy. Main phase 2, he's just going to pass.
So here, I set the DD warrior lady. I thought maybe he would have knock, but I didn't want to summon it into torrential.
But you were...
And I'm honestly
Didn't
okay with knock as well because I have return.
didn't you read that both of the back rows were bluffs?
Yeah, but it could be knock, right? Because I haven't played into knock yet. I think he
Okay.
has knock in hand.
And if you get knocked, then you have the return. So yeah, that makes sense. And your
Well,
Herald...
I knew the middle was a bluff, but the set closest to the deck, I had no read yet. I was worried that was torrential.
Interesting. So here comes the read that you had was a bluff, which was Book of Life. That's gonna banish a Shining Angel, get another card in your banner zone, which is good. And he's gonna summon the second Goblin Zombie. This synchro.
Yeah, I was thinking that he probably doesn't have any target stuff, which is what happened.
Yeah.
Because Reaper's gone. And yeah, so that's a hard -1 for him.
Yep. And it's also like pretty bad because he's banishing additional cards for your return as well. Not even gonna activate the Bryonic out of maybe Fear of Herald, maybe just...
Yeah, I mean, that was smart.
Yeah.
And now he knows my back row are fake as well. And this was a mobile misclick, but
Yep.
yeah.
Yep. A little bit of a misclick, easily corrected. And then...
Yeah, so his two lead sets I had no idea on, so...
Wow, he had Mind Control and he didn't go for it.
I guess he could have Mind Con, Call of the Haunted, go for a big play. But once again, like I had my back row where I guess made him play a bit more conservative.
In general, like, these cards could have amounted to a lot more, I think, because Once Call of the Haunted gets used up, you can bounce it with Bryonic, and it's a free reborn. Mind Control could have cleared like the Freed or something through Honest. Could have synchroed there. He could have made double synchro. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like there could have been some more stuff here, but he played pretty conservatively, I think. And now the Mind Control doesn't even look that good. Like, I feel like it would have been a lot better.
He has no tuners. Yeah.
Yeah, he has to stack for Plague to get the tuner, yeah. Whereas before, the Mind Control would have been a +1. Now it forces you to go -1, so it's just kind of neutral. Compulsory is a really good draw.
Yeah, it is. So I'm thinking actually one of the sets might be a dead dust shoot. So I think I set the Compulse first, and I flipped the Yada. Because I want to flip Return this turn, but I actually misplayed. I should have chained Return to Legacy.
Yep, to play around Torrential. It
does lose to Solemn, but it plays around Torrential.
Yeah, that would have played around Torrential for sure. Royal Oppression, not bad. Not bad, but...
Yeah, it's a pretty good director too, so...
Yeah. This is a solid return pile.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a pretty good pile. But it's tricky in terms of what to do from here, so I definitely use the Cyber Valley.
What's your grave looking like? You have one fairy? I think you probably use the Cyber Valley and then try to set up for some sort of Bryonic thing, right? Like that's just the goal. You set first again to play around the Dust Shoot, not letting him know that you have the Royal Oppression.
I think at that point I play into the Dust Shoot. I was thinking like if he has it, that's fine.
Yeah.
Because it's one less factor to deal with. But he doesn't have it. So now I need to think like, I have a set oppression. And it's like, do I value having an extra body? Like, I'm going to clear the Brile with DD Warrior Lady. But should I crash Angel first to keep a body on board? And turn off the oppression? Or do I, end with just one monster and have a live oppression? I was thinking like, I kind of lose to BrainCon here. So I wanted an extra body, BrainCon. And yeah, that was kind of my thinking.
Yeah, plus he's at a point where he's low enough that any one special summon could get stopped by Compulsory or Herald. So if your oppression is dead...
Yeah, exactly. And I was checking his grave, right? Because Dad is dead. So like, what special summon even hurts me? Like, nothing really.
Yeah, Compulsory can just banish the Plague if you really are afraid of that. Like, Plague Caius.
Yeah.
And he'll have to stack... Because he set the Mind Control, he'll have to stack the card he drew. So it's not like he can even make a Plague Caius play. Here comes Call of the Haunted. But this is fine because you do have A, Compulsory, and B, Dust Tornado to answer this.
And here it's really interesting. I was thinking, do I Compulse the Goyle or do I Dust Tornado? And so I think I misplayed here, but I was thinking like I'd lose to Caius. But then I forgot I had Herald to block Caius, so I should have compulsed the Goyle and then dusted the back row to go for lethal. And it was just a dumb play by me.
Yeah. Either way, you can still out the Goyo through Solemn, so it's better to wait for the attack in the case of Book of Moon.
Yeah, but I definitely should have compulsed the Goyo and then dusted the back row to guarantee lethal.
Yep, that makes sense. Main phase 2, special summons.
It's actually annoying because I can't crash DD Warrior Lady. Cyber Valley's gone, and I kind of have to play into Torrential here. I can't even compulse the side draw because he can just summon it again.
Yeah, but had he had Torrential, I mean, he would have Torrentialed you last turn when you went for the return, so...
Yeah,
I don't think it's...
Yeah, that is true.
I think it's pretty safe. Plus, you can synchro with the DD Warrior Lady, and then Torrential will at least float your D-Alk into, like...
Yeah, so that was the plan, I think.
Yep. And here comes Bryonic. This is going to pitch, bounce the back row first.
Yeah.
And bounce the Cyber Dragon as well, and then immediately go for the attacks, and that's going to be that. Jeez, crazy game. And that game puts you solidly into winner's side finals against Indicud, I believe, right? Yep.
The first match was much faster than the second, so the first game was crazy.
Yes. This is probably one of the sickest games of Yu-Gi-Oh! I've ever seen. This was very hype. We've got you winning the dice roll, I believe, which is, again...
Yeah, going first is really important.
Yeah, super
I
big.
think I lost the dice roll against Xeris, but it's definitely a die roll format. I think getting established your board.
Yeah, there are some cards that can make it easier going second. I like how the Swedish Blackwing players have adapted Noblemen of Extermination.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think the format's going to get really interesting as it gets more solved. People are going to have like very different plans for going second as opposed to going first, which is going to be interesting, but I guess we'll see. We'll see as it develops. Your opening hand's actually really solid. You've got Mind Control plus a conversion, and then you've also got DD Warrior
Yeah.
Lady plus Legacy to help you sort of maybe get a +1 somewhere.
Yes, I said both because I don't know if he runs Future Fusion, so I want to dust that
Yep.
and or Spirit Blade only for the gates. And honestly, heavy, I don't mind at all. It's basically an MSD, and now he doesn't have Storm for the rest of the game. This is just like another nice point for Legacy.
Yeah. Yeah, you were able to bait the heavy storm, and that's why Legacy of Yatagrassi was played in this deck. That's like 101. Legacy 101. All right, he
Yeah,
goes for the
so
Diva.
here, I don't Herald here. It's just a waste.
Yeah. I think, does he attack with Gilman?
No, he swings with Diva first.
Huh.
It's funny because this upstart actually kills him in the end.
Does it really?
Yeah,
I guess we shall see. I guess we shall see. So he gives you life points. He attacks into the DD Warrior Lady, takes some damage, and this damage actually does matter quite a bit.
yeah.
He takes a little
He
bit
keeps taking the
too.
wrong damage that Diva has done.
Yeah, he's just
I tracked that in both times. Yeah.
yeah. It's funny because it's like it's the wrong damage if it wasn't boosted, and it's the wrong damage if it was boosted. It's just wrong no
Yeah.
matter what.
Actually, if you look at his hand, like if I were him, I would have swung with Gilman because he has Deep Prison and an E-Call follow up, so the
Yeah.
next one he can make time. I don't know why he didn't swing with Gilman.
So here's the reason you don't swing with Gilman. He doesn't want to give you a recruiter search. So he's just checking
I
what
mean,
it is
I have BD
first.
Warrior Lady, right? So
You do have DD Warrior Lady, but it's way more likely to be a recruiter, right?
no, I meant like after Diva flipped Warrior Lady, he should have
Oh, you
Warrior Lady
mean
with Gilman.
he doesn't attack?
Yeah,
Wait, what?
yeah.
Wait, what?
Then he sets Deep Prison and he has E-Call next turn to go for a Brio or whatever, and he's looking good.
Wait, he doesn't attack. What? He doesn't take his +1? The fuck?
And then I don't know why he doesn't set his Deep Prison. He probably thinks I can't kill the caster.
Yeah, without a back row, but what? He
Yeah,
just.
here summon first and
Oh
Mind
my
Command.
goodness. Here it comes. This is so disgusting. The crazy part
At
about
least,
this
yeah,
is
he
it's like
controls
Xaxes,
it,
right?
yeah. It's just 100 more.
Yeah. So the way this
So
card
the
works,
upstart matters, the Diva matters. I mean, I had honest, so it probably didn't matter in the end, but it's kind of funny.
yeah, that's crazy. So this 1500 is going to put him exactly to, I believe, 5500, and then the Ancient Sacred Wyvern goes to
It's
what,
56.
5600 because of the difference in life points. That's hilarious. Absolutely punished for activating Upstart Goblin. Absolutely punished for attacking with the Diva. And Mind Control, actually, kind of clutch here. Kind of clutch. That was a crazy kill. I don't think we've ever seen that card do anything. Ever. So, that was pretty hype.
Yeah, but when it comes up, it wins the game, so
Yeah,
nice.
that's true. It is an OTK
Yeah.
enabler. It's kind of one of those things that you have to respect against fairies.
I always have to check to see if it's a light tuner and any non-tuner, or if it's any tuner and a light non-tuner, because I always forget.
Yes. Yes, true. Okay, opening hand, this game is actually really good too. Do you normally
Yeah,
like Book of
it's
Moon in this
nice.
matchup? Do you like it just for the
Yeah,
caster?
I keep all the books in just to play around Deep Prison.
Makes sense. Do you
And
book?
it's weird because he left the bottomless in. I could have
That's
set Nova Summoner also, but I felt, if he has Gemini Spark, I want to force that.
yeah, yeah, that's true. And getting the alias banished is actually super good. Turns off Hero Blast, that kind of thing. Now
So
he
yeah,
knows
this
about
game I just
this.
get a bit out tempo.
Yeah, you're kind of behind, and alias is big pressure. Trading the
Yeah.
Gilman with the DD Warrior Lady is not good for you. You do get to end
Yeah,
phase
so this
dust.
turn, yeah, so this turn costs me. So normally I would just set Nova and pass and Dust Tornado, but I know he's on Banisher, and so I was thinking if I set Nova and he has Banisher in hand, like I'm really fucked. So that's why I summon and crash. But the damage from this actually matters in the end.
Yeah. Would you have ever crashed Thunder King here?
No, because then it keeps Alias in play, and then Hero Blast screws me over later.
Wait, why does
Like
it
my game
keep?
plan's always
Oh, you mean keeps it in the grave? Okay, you want to keep him
yeah,
banished.
yeah,
I get
yeah,
you.
exactly. So yeah,
So
it was basically, do I play around Banisher and take some more life points, or do I just lose to Banisher and say if you have it, you have it?
yeah,
Um,
I think because he summoned Gilman last turn. I don't know. I don't know.
yeah, and also because he did have more background, right? So I was thinking like maybe he has a monster heavy hand, and yeah,
It's,
and there's no reason to summon Banisher last turn, so yeah, I was playing around it, but it cost me this game, and maybe I could have won because here I take an extra 1,000 life points and then 1,400,
was
so it matters a lot later. Yeah.
yeah,
And I kept drawing my back row removal and not like my animation traps.
and
That's unfortunate.
he had nothing but monsters, so the back row removal
Yeah.
traps just don't do anything. Yeah, it's kind of like you just draw the wrong half of your deck kind of situation.
Yeah, it's funny where him drawing a Gilmancer is actually pretty good.
Yeah, ironically, because it was able to clear the DD Warrior Lady at high value. Thunder King is
And
normally
also
not
just getting
bad, but all of a
yeah, it's
sudden, like,
blocking Econ now.
yep,
So here I think he misplays. He has Ocean and Miracle live, I think. Check his hand.
yep,
If I were him, I would have just set Ocean and gone for Miracle. Because if I draw Oppression or DD Warrior Lady, he doesn't have a follow up.
yeah, yeah, that's true.
But he doesn't.
Here comes the Miracle. That's absolute zero. And this card's a pain in the ass. It's just gonna
Yeah.
cost you no matter how you swing it. Main phase 2, you call for Stratos. He goes for the
I think
add
he should have done
effect.
Stratos in main phase 1
Probably, yeah.
and just clear my DL. Yeah.
Yeah.
So now here I need to decide, I have my body set. Do I flip to my body? Because he knows my last back row is dead. It hasn't done anything. So it's pretty much a -1. And I thought if I flip my body on the Ab Zero, I still get in 1,700 damage. And it doesn't really make a difference with, because I know he has Alias in hand.
Yes.
So I would take 200 from this attack versus 1,900 direct. So it's actually better to flip my body.
Yep, to get value out of the card. I think we talked about that on camera as well. It was like,
Yeah.
yeah, he had to get value out of my body, even though it was so bad. It was like, if you don't activate it there, it just becomes a -1. So,
Yeah. It also saves me 200 life points and does 1,700 to him. So, like, yeah,
pretty
definitely
much.
flip it. So, yeah, you see here I'm at 700. If I didn't crash the Novas earlier, I'd be at 21. So I'd still be alive. Because I had to do the crash, I lose to, I think he top decks the Gemini Spark also if you check his hand. He,
Yeah.
Yeah.
You get sacked, basically. Indicud sacks you. Let's be real.
Yeah, but I probably lost that because I was too low.
Moving into game
Yeah, so
3.
then, yeah. And yeah, this hand, I was just like, yeah, I'm going to blow him out. Because I have Gores, Solemn, and Storm.
Yeah, and you have the Legacy as well.
And then I top deck the Legacy, which is just really good. So
That's
the funny thing is, if I didn't have Legacy, like, there's no way he swings into Gores. I think it's just too obvious of a play. Because I have back row, he's testing Bottomless, he's testing Deep Prison. Then I drop the Gores, and then it's big pressure.
Yeah, and he has to out this or else the game just straight up ends, pretty much. You got your free +1, you get the token, which is actually pretty value here. I mean, 1,700. You could trade it with the Gilman if you wanted to or whatever. Yeah.
So here I was thinking, do I summon a Ryle? But I didn't want to give him value for his Bottomless, because if I set Solemn and Storm next turn, I just win. But I have to switch the token and Clash, because if he has Diva, he can make level 8 and clear my Gores, make Stardust, and that's actually kind of annoying. So yeah, I just swing, and I don't know what his back row were, but yeah, I set the Solemn, and just hope he doesn't have MST.
Yeah, we're going to
I'm
go.
hoping he has, light imprisoning, Bottomless. He sets more back row and just loses.
Here comes
This was like the one, the big storm.
Yeah. So we've got Bottomless, Solemn, Miracle, and Deep Prison. Setting the Miracle to sort of obfuscate the Solemn from blind MST. And the
I'd say that
deprison,
Dusty, I guess.
he could have
But I wouldn't
deprisoned the
keep Dusty in.
token. I guess he's
Yeah,
saving.
you could have deprisoned something.
Hmm.
But yeah, this game is just over. Storm, and he knows it also.
Yeah, there's no coming back here. He knows it immediately. And then you go for the blowout play. And the game's going to end, if not this turn, I mean, you're going to summon Thunder King, and then he can't E-Call, he can't Rhoda, he can't Stratos, and he's Cyber Dragon is dead, so that's just going to be the match for Winners Finals. And you're going to move on to Winner Sides Grands in this, thanks to 3 really insane cards and a clutch Legacy of Yatagrasu. You played 4 cards this game and you won, which is
Yeah, it was nice.
this was an insane match because you had essentially 2 turn 2 kills, more or less.
Yeah,
Yeah. People.
very different from Grounds.
Yeah. Let's go ahead and get into Grants. It's a bit of a marathon game. Are you ready for this? Are you ready for this?
Yes, let's do it.
Magnum opus of Yu-Gi-Oh! Fairies versus Hero Beat. Indicud in grand finals versus ProStorm. Indicud's a really good player. I don't remember exactly how he got his invite, but I'm sure he got it somehow. I don't know.
He got multiple invites.
He did
He
get.
got a ban.
Oh, okay, yeah, he must have had multiple invites then. Yeah, I think he must have gotten just like multiple tops or something. I think he topped the charity event.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't really remember. Okay, so your opening hand, solid. It has all the things
Oh yeah,
you need.
game one was crazy. Every game in this set was still crazy.
At this point, you're probably really tired because this is hour 11 of the tournament.
Yeah. So I started playing at 3 a.m. and by this point I think it was 11 a.m.
Yes.
So pretty tired, but I was also pretty happy I was in Giants because I was in the guarantee no worse than second place,
Yes.
and I had 2 shots to secure it. So
Yes, because you are on winner's side. Okay. And Indicud, he's got to make something happen. We didn't see any crazy sideboard stuff from him in the last game. We didn't see any light mirror. We didn't see anything too crazy, but he can make Catastor pretty easily, which is a way that he can sort of press through this deck. So we'll see if that.
yeah, it's just really good pressure. If he starts with like Shiro Blast, Gemini Spark loops, it can get quite annoying.
Yep.
Game one have a lot of dead cards like Herald. I mean, Herald's not as bad in this matchup, but still not ideal.
Yeah, Herald's not as bad because of said Catastor, but at the same time, it normally only stops Catastor or Stratos in this entire deck. Sometimes it can stop Absolute Zero, but you have to be so far ahead. So you set the
So
Shining
this is
Angel.
a pretty good hand. Yeah.
What are you hoping to go into off this Shining Angel?
Depends on what he makes. But I'm definitely going to deprison the capacitor.
Yeah, that's true. That's your only out for it. Well, I guess you have Herald, but you don't want to Herald it, Is there any consideration to heralding the Stratos?
No.
Why not?
Well, I mean, I guess you could, but the way I'm thinking is I want to trade DL with Stratos, and I value the Honest a lot. So, do I throw away Herald and Nova? Nova's like another body in case the first body gets like Gemini Spark, Hero Blasted, or anything.
That's true. You do have to
I
go
guess
minus
maybe
one.
I could have, but yeah, but I'm going second and going -1, and I value the stickiness of the recruiters because then DL can loop DD Warrior Lady, and if I can banish his heroes, then turns off his Miracle Fusions. Like, I guess that's my game plan.
Yeah. Yeah, and you can always hold the Herald, like, in case you get to a low resource game situation, you can Herald, like, an Ocean or something. That might be
The other thing is,
fun.
like, you can't really pressure me, so I have 2 recruiters, and now I'm getting 1,000 from Upstart, and I have Deep Prison to deal with the Catastor. So here I get Cyber Valley, because if his back row is Scholar Trap removal, I get kind of bodied. Well, I guess I can Herald that, but yeah, I Deep Prison.
I was thinking maybe you might want to activate Cyber Valley here and then guarantee that your D out can +1 off the Stratos.
Yeah, that's another line for sure.
But clearing the Catastor, I mean, you just have to do it. Like, this card's going to beat you.
Yeah. For sure.
Yeah, or it's at least going to force a -1, so I think that's the best deep prison you can get here.
Yeah.
This is a
I mean,
little bit.
it's too risky.
This
Passive.
is
Yeah.
this is just a little bit scary. I think going into Cyber Valley was a little bit scary because he can always like clear this with a, tribute set Chimera Tech or something like that. Um,
Yeah, but that's honestly fine for me. I think I don't expect Cydra to be in post board, to be honest. Oh no, this was game one. Sorry.
yeah, this is game
Yeah.
one. Yeah, I think it's okay. I think it ends up being okay because if this gets banished, then your Dialk gets live, and that's
Yeah.
kind of exactly what you wanted. So here comes the attack. You're going to activate the Cyber Valley. You're going to be able to draw a card. That ends the whole battle phase, so he can't attack into your set monster. He's going to set 2, and then you pick up Space Typhoon. Do you have any reads on these sets at all?
No, well, I feel like one's probably a Gemini Spark, but I don't want to blind MST to that. And another's, it could be Bottomless, which is dead, so I don't want to waste MST on that. I know these lists sometimes run called the Haunted as well, and maybe Future Fusion, and those are better targets to hit with MST.
Yeah.
So yeah, the play is just DL could get my +1 back.
Yep. Here he's going to chain the Gemini Spark to the Dialk activation, which is a pretty heads-up play. And your read was correct that one of the new sets was Gemini Spark, so.
Yeah, now I'm kind of annoyed if he does have a Hero Blast, and but now I know his other sets are not deprisoned, because otherwise he would just deprison the DL.
Exactly. So you can...
So one set has to be Bottomless, and I don't think he would set Storm there, so I go for it. This also plays around Dust Shoot.
Yep, this does, yes.
So that's what I get. I get DL, because if he has Hero Blast, at least the DL floats, unless it's channeling 2, and the DL guarantee trades with the Stratos.
And
I see the new back row, because it could be, deprison. Turns out to be a Dust Shoot.
Yep.
Which is clutch, because if I didn't set the back row, he gets Dust Shoot off, and it's kind of annoying.
Yeah, actually true. It would have taken your Honest, probably. I mean, you had 2, but it's still good to take it, Dialk Crash, and then you do get to pick up your +1. So even though you had been down card advantage pretty much the whole game up until this point, you finally find a way to pick it back up thanks to the crashing of this
I was
guy.
never really down. It's just because Stratos is a +1 and he went first. So it seemed like he was up 2 cards.
Yeah.
But now we're even.
Yep. Here comes Diva Activate. And you have 2 outs. Yep. He didn't draw either of his Gilman in this game, so he's able to go into the second Gilman. This game, he does attack with Gilman first. I wonder why he changed his mind on the play from the first game.
So Shadow's a DD Warrior Lady again.
That's true. Did you ever consider deprisoning this Gilman? Or was it not on the table for you?
Nah.
You just wanted to get your search off the Shining Angel?
Yeah, I feel like I can get rid of his monster pretty easily, and I want to save the deprison for Ab-Zero.
That makes sense. Is there a reason you go into DD Warrior Lady and not Dialk? Oh, you only play the 2 Dialks, that's right.
Yeah, I took the 3rd Dialk, so...
Okay. I was going to say, you could go into the 3rd Dialk here. Does he...
Yeah, so he makes the enter, which is funny because he doesn't have 2 Catasters. And I need to decide, do I Bottomless this? Or do I run it over with Honest? I end up Bottomlessing it, but in hindsight, maybe I should save the Bottomless.
Bottomless is okay against Alias, because it does banish it, but he already has an Alias in the grave. So it's kind of like... I don't know.
Yeah, and his Hero Blast is live, so...
Yeah, I think Honest is probably the better way to deal with it, but I could be wrong, because Honest deals with anything too, and Honest isn't losing to back row removal, so I'm not really sure. It's probably fine. I don't know. It ends up working out, right?
Yeah. So here it's when I don't think anything happens.
This is first blood, first damage of the whole game. We're on turn 14.
Yeah.
Finally, someone is connected. Very controlling
so I don't set the Nova, because I want to pitch it for World, value the Honest more. I don't want to play into TT, really.
Yeah. If you can get in...
I have a lot of life.
You do have a lot of life. If you can get in even one more attack, double Honest could end up being a lethal shot.
For sure, yeah.
Yeah. But you do run into Deep Prison, which kind of sucks. Raiko's not a bad draw, though. Or is it?
Yeah, so here I don't want to flip it, because I want to save it to Ab-Zero, or at least flip it and damage that. So now we get into like just passing game. I could summon Honest and start swinging, but I really didn't want to lose to Torrential here.
Yeah, that would have been a really brutal torrential. I mean, you could have flipped the Raikou into the back row and then tried to play into the torrential, but
Yeah,
it is a little bit aggressive. I don't know. I think because you have double honest, it might be okay. And this is game one, so like he
yeah,
doesn't have light mirror. Plus, if you mill like Christia, you can just randomly kill him with call. That is definitely. I think that is a critical turn where you had to decide: am I gonna play the long game or am I gonna play for an aggressive kill with double honest? Um, which is really
yeah, for
interesting.
sure. And I probably could have summoned the Honest, or honestly, I could have summoned a Nova Summoner, right? And but because Honest can still wall his small dudes, but hard to say. Yeah,
Yeah, that's a
I
tough
thought the long game
situation.
favored me just because I had 9,000 life points.
Yeah, you do have 5 fairies engraved, but you can easily go to 4 thanks to the call.
Yeah, but then Raikou, like I figured this game I wasn't gonna win off Christia.
Yeah, and thankfully you're not just like breaking on Christia's, but if you do draw one, you can always pitch it to Herald, so it's not that bad.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was thinking, and so now he's like, I'm tired of passing, just gonna go for it.
Yeah. So you decided, okay, if I play the long game, I will win because I have A, life advantage, he can't really OTK me. B, he's already out multiple divas, so that means very few synchro plays left. Uh C, Raikou is good against Absolute Zero, which is like the only way he can really pressure you. And then D, you can eventually just run him out of cards. I mean, he's just like less cards in deck than you, even if you do mill 3 off this Raikou, so uh, yeah. I mean, the long game does definitely favor you, and he's forced to act into your stuff, so it makes sense that you went for it. I think it's a good call. Then here comes the second miracle.
So now I'm thinking he probably has Road in pack. Otherwise, he wouldn't play like this. Road or Solemn.
Yes, that makes sense. Was that any consideration as to why you didn't set the Mirror Force?
Um, yeah, I mean, I guess I could have. There wasn't really a line behind it. I thought I was safe behind it because I had Call, Honest,
Yeah, that's true.
and a deep prison.
And then you ask him if he's got road back there. You're trying to tell him that you have a Mirror Force, but you don't. So that's a good fake out. I like this fake out. Solid banter. Here comes the attack,
Yeah,
then the Wind Blast.
yeah. A lot of people like to flip too early, but obviously, he has Gemini Spark, Zero Blast, Swing Blast. That's why we do a lot of thumbs up before the damage step.
And the way this works, right, is he attacks your set monster, he Wind Blasts your set monster, and when the replay occurs, you miss the window to activate stuff like D Prison, right? Like, that's how it works.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and Vader. So it's a pretty high level tactic. A lot of
Yep,
people don't know about it actually.
exactly. So this 25 is going to come in. The second 25, are you going to D Prison the second 25, or do you
Oh,
just
100% deep
makes?
prison.
Yeah, you
So
want to.
now if you look at his threats, right, he only has one Ab Zero left, and maybe Call of the Haunted, and Ocean. Oh, he can't even Ocean Recycle. So his Hero Blast is dead. He has one Ab Zero left, and so now if I can just deal with this Ab Zero, like I'm pretty much like gonna win because
Yeah,
he just runs out of sets.
game one especially because he doesn't have those banishers. He doesn't have stuff like DD Warrior Lady or Fossil Dyna. I don't know what combination of those he was citing. I think he had.
Yeah, exactly. And in top decking Braico again to deal with the Ab Zero. So
Yeah,
and I have Mirror Force, so I feel pretty good in this position.
and now Mirror Force is good because it's not going to walk into road unless he summons another monster. And if he does summon
Yeah,
another monster, then you can, just Raikou pop that, Mirror Force the second monster, and play around road
yeah.
effectively.
And now I'm up a card as well. I've been gone second, so
Yep.
I
And
feel pretty good here.
another important thing too is when he wind blasted you, he put you up a card in deck so that if it does come to deck out, which it can, like this matchup can definitely come to deck out, you will win. So
Yeah,
so the long game now favors you in level of threat density and level of cards in deck, and just in every sense, it favors you. Okay, sets the Raikou, sets the Mirror Force, exactly, and then passes the turn.
honestly, I probably could have avoided setting the Mirror Force because it's pretty easy to read. That's sorry, because I top deck the Raikou, right? So the Mirror Force is probably another battle trap. So I could have held it just to preserve a bit more information.
That's true. There are some circumstances in which you might have needed to go for it, but those circumstances are very rare. It would have been like call plus Space Typhoon plus Third Miracle kind of thing. So
So here, maybe it's hard. I was thinking to flip the Raikou. I don't know if he's on main deck skill drain. I don't know if he has Solemn. Like, Solemn and Raikou kind of hurts as well. But I forgot, if he has Solemn, it means he probably doesn't have Road, which makes my Mirror Force Torrential better later. So I probably should have flipped the Raikou. I didn't want to set Nova because I probably want to pitch it with Herald. And also, if I set the Nova and he swings into Raikou, then I'm getting 2 for 1.
yep, that makes sense. Plus, Nova's actually a threat that can win you the game with this hand.
Later, yeah, for sure.
Yep.
And I have Call as well, right? I have Call on it. So he top decks Alias, which is annoying to see his Spark in hand.
Yes, that is true. That is indeed true. But you're
Deals
also
with the
you're also kind of fine here, because even if he does spark that, I mean, like your 3 back row are gonna trade pretty effectively into his back row. I guess maybe not Torrential Mirror into the road, but
yeah.
you do have a good setup with Torrential, Force the Road, and then Herald the
Yeah, this guy was on Mirror Force, for sure.
yeah. I think. I'm trying to think of how this works here. So he attacks the Raikou, sparks the Raikou, and this is
But here,
again
yeah,
for the
here I
replay.
misplay. Yeah, because I should have flipped Call of the Haunted here for Dialk. Because if you see the card he draws next turn, it's the perfect 1-outer in his whole deck. Just getting Dialk lets me neutralize his Ab-Zero.
Yep.
He draws MST,
Yeah.
which, yeah, I should have chained Call to G-Spark. But, it's just something that doesn't really come up that often, and I didn't consider, this situation, but it happened.
Yeah. And that tiny, tiny little thing after going for this long game, controlling
It's
everything.
really punishing. Yeah, it's really punishing here.
Here goes for the
Because I take 3,200, which is huge damage, and
yeah.
I can't Mirror Force here because I just lose the road.
Yeah, on the spot, yeah.
So now I'm kind of screwed. I set the DD Warrior Lady, hoping to trade with the Ab-Zero. And I'm thinking if he has any monster, then I can TT then Mirror Force. He draws Miracle, which is actually favorable for me, because it's his second threat in the deck.
Yep. And it's also forced to banish the alias, so
The Alias. Yeah, which means his Hero Blasts are dead.
here comes the Torrential, for which he has Road. Brings out Stardust. He attacks. You go Mirror Force, Chain Stardust, and then Chain Herald of
So
Orange
now,
Light.
yeah. And I was thinking, what do I pitch? Do I pitch the Honest or do I pitch the Nova? I decided to pitch the Honest because I can just crush her with the Nova. And if you look at his threats left in the deck, he really only has 1 Alias.
Yeah. He just has the 1 alias. That and I guess Ocean, if you can count that. Cyber Dragon, if you can count that.
Yeah. So I was counting his threats in the chat. It's like Alias, Honest, Sidra.
Yep.
Yeah.
You pick up.
Yeah, I draw a dead Christian, which sucks. Would have been nice the previous turn. And this, I think for a bit here, I'm thinking, do I summon a Nova and swing, or do I play a long game again and just, deck him out? I was thinking, his back row 1 has to be bottomless. Maybe he has, dead cards, bottomless, what else?
Mirror
It
Force.
was mostly just if Nova connects, then I can probably just win off damage. And if it doesn't, he really only has 2 outs, like a Rhoda and another Equal Alias. It's 3 out of 16. So if he doesn't draw that next turn, I can set Honest and Stabilize.
I
But
think.
yeah, I thought it was worth gambling.
I don't know.
One D person's already gone.
I think I would have stuck to the guns here and played the long game, just because he has 2 cards left in his deck. If the game goes long, you can easily find 2 outs, and then you win the
Yeah,
game.
but what I was worried about was either double honest or Gemini Spike Hero Blast looping his Alias to kill me. I also need a Compulse main, so
He does only have 1 spark left. So
yeah.
There is that. But yeah, Hero Blast is an issue.
Play the long game. I thought, if you have Hero Blast and Bottomless, and I can get through the attack, that's fine. But he draws his last alias, which is
That's
really unlucky.
that's really unlucky because Cyber Dragon wouldn't have been able to do it, and neither would have Honest. I don't think.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But when he said, I guess I have to, it made me realize I could have played a long game because I still had Gores left in the deck. So I could have just stalled and waited to see Gores.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I didn't calculate that, and that was probably optimal.
Yeah. I honestly think that playing the long game there would have guaranteedly sealed this one, but honestly it was optimal because you needed your brain power for the next game. Because this was a long fucking match. This is,
Yeah, I mean, this was a great game still. Like, even though I lost, like, I had a lot of fun. The TT Mirror Force turn was pretty good, and yeah, he played well too.
yeah, the clutch compulse for lethal, him shoving for damage and getting a little bit aggressive actually ended up working out really well for him early on. Just getting those extra hits in when they mattered, and then at this moment in time, he's able to go for the game. You Dust Tornado to get information, which is optimal, and then go into game 2. So what are you siding against this matchup again? Refresh.
Yeah, I cut Cristea because you don't really need it to win this. I bring in all my back row removal just because you have to play through Light Imprisoning. I bring in the Rios, they can run over the Banisher and block E-Call, all that stuff. Uh, yeah, and Breaker to pop Light Imprisoning. That's about it. I cut the Heralds, they're bad. I cut Braincon, Mindcon because you don't want to lose the Gemini Spark. And so I cut the Cyber Valley. But I forget, maybe I kept the Cyber Valley in because I saw in the first round he kept in side draw.
Yep.
Or he sided in side draw.
Yep. That makes sense. This game is interesting because he goes back to attacking with Diva. So his read changes.
And he takes the wrong damage again.
Yeah, that's so funny. Oh man, your hand's pretty good. You have return with DD Warrior Lady, so this could maybe be a kill shot at some point, and Dust Tornado to set it up. Bottomless is also okay. Do you bottomless this Catastrophe here, or do you save it?
Yeah, I definitely bottom this because there's no guarantee I can kill through Buck.
That's true, I suppose. And you want to save your book to maybe trade with a D prison, I think.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep. Looks like he does have the clutch limb. Do you
Yeah,
set?
that's why I side the 3 dust. I set my hand here, I think, just because I want to play around the shoot.
Yep, and you hold the return because it's not live. Yep.
There's no point setting it. Yeah.
Yep, that's smart. Cyber Dragon gets special summon, so now you do know that he's left Cyber Dragons in game 2.
Yeah.
So this might.
I think this game is funny actually. So
Here comes Alias with an attack declaration. Light Imprisoning Mirror is gonna get dusted. Gonna chain Spark. Gonna chain Solemn. So you're gonna get, what is this, a 2 for 3?
yeah, so he goes -1, but I take 4,000. But we simplify the game state a lot, and I'm thinking I crash Angel into side draw and make Chimera attack my turn. Now he has to deal with the 2,000 body, and his miracles are dead. So I thought that was a good game plan.
Yep, that works. Well, I mean, it should work through most back row, unless he has like specifically another light mirror. That would be kind of awkward.
Yeah. So Cristea's a good draw here, because I was planning on crashing and dropping Cristea, but he has Mirror Force and I buck. That's why I keep bucking, just to trade with their battle traps.
Yep, it's basically like once you can save your Dust Tornadoes for the light mirror, and then you can use the book as like extra MSTs for the battle traps, more or less. Yep.
So here, like, I was debating, do I set the DD Warrior Lady? Because there's a chance he swings with Cyclones to the new set. Then I can't drop Cristea, I can't make Chimera attack. But also, like, if he drops Spanish for now, he gets in a lot of damage, and then it's just uncomfortable for me. So I decided to set the DD Warrior Lady, because even if I can't drop Cristea, it's not dead, and it makes my return live. And then I immediately realized I lose to Black Rose here. And when he said weird spot, I thought he was thinking of going Diva Black Rose. I don't know if he had Diva. Can you check his cards?
He had 2 Cyber Dragons and an Alias.
He doesn't, yeah. So, yeah, I probably could have kept the return in hand just so I don't get -1 to Black Rose.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah.
So
and because he trades with DD Warlade, I can't crash now, I can't make Chimera attack, I can't drop Cristea. So it's kind of annoying.
Yeah, but you can start pressuring him and saying, hey, you got to do something, and if you don't do something, then you're going to lose, and if you do something, then I'm going to be able to summon Cristea. Yep. So you said you leave
I
in
think I
like
have two fairies in my grave,
you have
if you
two
check.
two fairies engraved.
How many?
You have one.
Oh, just one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
You can still. I think it's 21. No, it's 15 to crash.
21. Yeah.
It would be 21 into a Cyber Dragon, but it would be 15 into the Alias. So
Yeah.
that's not too bad. Put him down to 5,000. You did say you cited out some number of Christie on this matchup. It looks like you've left in at least one.
Yeah, I think this game I only have one Christia. Just 'cause going second, I want to have as many active cards as possible.
Yep, that makes sense. Setting Compulse is good too, because if you find another monster, all of a sudden that's just a game shot.
For sure.
Yeah, here comes.
And actually, Compulse change to Gemini Spark is a nice pseudo +1.
Yeah, because doesn't it have to destroy the monster for them to
Yeah.
draw? Yeah. So that's pretty good.
So here we do a weird damage kill dance. You got honest? Nope.
Bunch of
Nothing.
thumbs ups. Bunch of thumbs ups. You're going to take 500 and you're going to be able to special summon something from your deck. You're just going to grab another Shiny Angel because you do want to set up for this Christia. The draw was Bottomless Trap Hole, which is... It's pretty good here. I'm not going to lie. It is pretty good. You just switched the
Here,
Angel.
I'm thinking do cash, but I have two in a grave, right? So if I do double crash, I take 1,000 and then I just lose to honest. So that's why I couldn't swing there.
Yeah, that's true. You can't do that because then you drop to 18 and then you don't really have a Herald or an Honest to get back of your own. The only way it would work is if you went Angel into Herald.
DD Warrior Lady, yeah.
Or, into DD Warrior Lady. Yeah, you would have to crash again.
Yeah, but then I don't have 4, right? So that's why I need him to kill this Angel. Then I can crash and drop Christia.
Well, I guess you could have gone Angel, DD Warrior Lady, and then taken 1,400 instead of 1,000.
Well, I take 1,000. Then I'd be at 1,800. But then I just lose to honest, so I have to play defensive the whole rest of the game.
No, I'm saying if you crash the Angel, you get a DD Warrior Lady, you crash the DD Warrior Lady, banish the Alias, then you drop Christia.
Then I can't drop Christia because I'm only at 2 fairies right now.
Yeah, you would get a second Angel still. You would just go Angel into DD Warrior Lady. Does that make sense?
Well, that's 500, 500.
Yeah, 500, 500. So you take 1,400. You drop to 1,400. You would banish the Alias, and then you would special Christia.
Yeah, but what I mean is if he drops honest, then I just lose straight up.
Oh, yeah. On that attack, yes. I thought you were talking about, if he draws it this turn.
No. That's why I can't crash. If I crash and don't swing into Alias, then I have to play defensive.
Yeah.
Because anytime I risk losing to honest, and I don't have Herald to stop honest.
That's true.
So I need him to swing into the Angel. That's why the game gets stalled out a bit longer again.
Yep. Okay, and then you just go for the late game. Eventually, he decides to.
Maybe he just got angsty.
Yeah, I don't know. Why didn't you set the deep?
I'm fine with the attack.
I think the attack is good for you, right? This is just.
Yeah, the attack's good for me. I don't know what he did.
Yeah, it's kind of a weird attack. Because now you can crash.
I could.
And you do.
So I go for it, and he has Gemini Spark. It's I could compulse it, but I'd rather just drop Christia because this is the 4th fairy.
Yeah.
So I don't mind this at all. Yeah.
Yeah, this is just good for you. I mean, wait. Okay, yeah. So he draws a card off Spark, and then here you can just drop Christia. If he goes for the bottomless, are you just letting that happen?
Yeah, so actually on stream, I know people are why do you think taking forever for the Christia? But the Christia decision was easy. I was deciding, do I compulse the Christia or not? Because I have to return stack, right?
Yeah.
And so it was a tricky decision. So I ultimately decided to keep the compulse because it's just another layer of defense.
Yeah, exactly. And you haven't normaled this turn, so you can still play the Angel. You can still play your 2 trap cards too. Interesting. Okay. He sets his own D prison. Why did he set? Oh, he did this. Plays around Dust Shoot. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Rhoda's for Stratos. Summon Stratos. Goes for a search. But you're okay with this because your game plan is now just Soul Charge OTK.
Yeah,
basically.
I'm just gonna win next turn.
Yeah, or not Soul Charge.
I think his Mirror Force is gone too. He check his graveyard.
Yep, Mirror Force is gone. It's just torrential.
It's just torrential.
And you could.
I think I misplayed too. I should have chained return chain. No, but I have to flip the dude anyway. So yeah, I think I
Yeah.
was digging for MSD or Storm here or something.
Yeah, and you can always compulse chain return if you want to.
Yeah,
Like, yeah, it's not a big deal. You find another battle trap, so you're gonna be like super safe even if this doesn't go off. You flip.
yeah, my oppression's still alive too. So
Was
he
there?
de-prisons, which is funny.
That is really funny. And this is just the game, right? Like that's just lethal.
Yeah,
No, wait.
it's 57, so it's lethal. Because I compulse the Stratos.
That's right. Yeah, you have compulse for the Stratos. Okay, I was like trying to do the math through the Stratos, and I was like, why is my brain not working? But yes, compulsory game, both games. Yes, exactly. So compulsory's been like just absolutely clutch for both of you guys. Having that one compulsory to like go for the game shots is kind of crazy, especially in these types of matchups where you get to that point where it's like, okay, they're at 4,000. If I can just get a clear board, I can maybe go for something big.
Yeah, for sure.
Do you side in,
Never bad.
do you side any differently going second?
No, not really. I think maybe I brought back one Christia. So I'm thinking turn one if you go Stratos, I can clash four, drop Christia. It's really nice he hasn't seen oppression at all in any of the games. Because this oppression puts in a lot of work.
Yeah, it crushes him
This
this
was a
game.
misclick. I meant to set the Nova.
Yeah,
I'm playing to Storm here, but it was like, um,
it was what?
oh, I was just saying, I'm gonna play into Storm here, but I didn't think he had it.
Yeah, and even if he does have it, like he's seen, Legacy of Yatagarasu. So if he plays Storm from hand, and you have even one Legacy, it's like not a great Storm, really. It's not a bad Storm.
Oh, that's what I meant. Some of my previous games, like before, was just playing around Storm actually lost me more games than not. Some like, and I felt, I was already up a match kind of because I was on winner side. So am I playing not to lose or am I playing to win? And for set three, I felt I had higher chances of winning.
Yeah, more often than not, they're not going to have heavy Storm, so you can
Yeah,
take that gamble in situations
yeah,
where you have something to gamble with, which is essentially a match in winner's side. You bottomless the ocean. Is there a reason for this?
yeah. I just don't want him to loop Ocean Stratos.
Yeah, you don't have another out for it unless like if he doesn't attack and has a battle trap, then you're kind of fucked. So
Yeah, yeah. And that's also why I said all three. I thought all three cards had value. Like bottomless hits Ocean, Oppression hits Diva, and MST hits Land Imprisoning. I thought like I needed all three set because any one of those scenarios could just turn it into them.
yep, it's tempting to go for the MST here, but it's actually very smart to hold it, like you said, because of
No,
light
I
imprisoning.
have to hold it because I just lose really bad to Light Imprisoning.
Exactly.
If he has Light Imprisoning and Solemn, it kind of sucks. But
Yep,
but if he Solemn, so I have honest return, so maybe we can make something happen.
that's true. That's true. He sets his back row. He doesn't want to give you the Nova searches, which is
Yeah,
understandable. And you don't want to play
it's fine.
into
I'm
like,
happy playing. I'm happy playing longer game, just because hero beats scariest when they're just pressing you. So if he's just passing, it lets me play to my game plan, see my power cards, stabilize, and yeah,
yeah. I mean, your board is actually really, really soft right now. If he had done like, honestly, like if he had had like a spark here, this game could have collapsed really quickly just because I guess oppression and return are not the best when you're getting attacked by beaters and you don't have a floating monster in
I
play.
have honest to block. I have honest to block and oppression flip side draw miracle.
That's true. You can always set honest. You can always set honest. So,
Now I'm just playing around Dust Shoot.
yep. Picked up Mirror Force. Do you set this as well? No, you set the honest. That makes
No,
sense.
I said the honest. Yeah.
Another honest. Okay. Again, another like sort of just defender. Now things have
Yeah.
gotten.
Now things are getting complex.
Yeah. This is where things get weird. So, what is his game plan? His game plan is probably like force the back row or somehow clear the recruiters and then start attacking. Because he can't win the long game, right? Like, that's just like.
Yeah. I feel like his game plan is fine light imprisoning and Solemn or Solemn Storm. But I'm too much. I have too much life, so I don't know how he wins. He needs to like loop Alias, Gemini Spark, Hero Blast, and just win off of advantage. I think that's his game plan because I don't have pros to hit Hero Blast.
Yeah. I think he might have messed up setting this Mirror Force. Because you're obviously not attacking him anytime soon. So. It could have been a more high value card in that slot. But I could be wrong. It says I need to cut Gilman. Lol. But then you do end up attacking. Is there a reason you attack here?
I just want to test the back row, see what he has.
Okay.
And now my Dialk is live. I was hoping for Deep Prison.
Yeah.
Then I can trade Dialk with Stratos next turn. And Honest walls him.
Yeah.
I guess he could have summoned Sidra, but like tribute summoned Sidra, but he's probably just sinking into Recruiter.
If you're Indicud here, what you should actually do is you should Mirror Force the Nova and save the Deep Prison for later. Because the Mirror Force
save Deep Prison for Dialk, I think.
Yeah.
That's more impactful.
Yeah, also Nova Summoner in the grave is much worse for you because you can't return it. You can't Dialk it. So there's a couple reasons why
it's hard to say. It turns on Freed, makes Paul live, but yeah, it's probably better in the grave than in the banish.
Yeah, especially at this point in the game. Yeah. And especially because he has the choice, so. And you're never playing into Mirror Force. Let's be real.
Yeah, definitely not. Yeah. That's the number one rule for Fairy. Like, you can't play into Mirror, because then you just straight up lose.
Yeah, you can't take those huge -1s, especially on board. And here
I'm thinking he probably has Road set. Otherwise, he wouldn't get this aggressive.
Road or some sort of stop, like Solemn, Dark Bribe, something like that.
Yeah, Road or Solemn.
Yeah. Takes 100.
This is good. Honest Walson. I think he sparks this.
He does. Do you Solemn this, or do you just... Oh, you don't have Solemn. Never mind.
I don't even have Solemn.
So he goes for the 1700, and you just take it because you have nothing worth.
Yeah, I don't have. Yeah.
Makes sense. So you have the read that one of his 3 back row that exists right now, probably one of the first 3, which are the 2 in the center, is either Road or Solemn. Does that?
Yeah, exactly.
Does that end up coming up later on?
I'm not sure. So here I decided to set Honest instead of Summon Dialk, because if he has another Deep Prison, I'm just taking a lot of damage. And Honest just stabilizes.
Yeah, you can just vibe out on the Honest.
I mean, if he has Hero Blast, it kind of sucks, but it was always going to suck if he had Hero Blast.
Yeah, there's really nothing you could do about it in this circumstance. And you can always call and then wall out with the other Honest later on, too. He sets a new back row. That's going to be an E-call. It looks like he's just drawn all of his targets, which is pretty funny.
Yeah, maybe. So now Dialk is really good. And actually, I get a read that he has TT here because he asks Prior. And of course, he never used Prior with Dialk because that just loses the TT.
Yep. So, well, I mean, I wouldn't say never, but most of the time, yeah, you don't. So you activate Dialk. You banish Freed, which is actually insane banish. That's super good for you. That's going to be a great card to grab back with Dialk to help set up for this return later on.
For sure. It's just an answer to add 0 later, so...
Yeah.
He only has, 3 bombs, and so if Freed can neutralize 1 bomb, my Battle Trap Starter guys, and yeah.
Yeah. Gets back the Freed.
I pop the Shadow, because if he has Miracle, he has to banish his face-up Gilman.
Yeah, that is better. And attacking over the Gilman will leave him with Stratos in play, and the Stratos can run over your Dialk. I don't know where I'm going with
which
this.
Is kind of annoying. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd rather, I'm never using Freed to pop Stratos, because then I'm just off to add 0.
Yeah, exactly. And you pick up your second Dialk, which is actually huge. Honestly, Dialk's been insane for you in this matchup. It's been so good.
Yeah.
And because he has no new back row...
It's just this repeat, yeah.
Yeah, it's the
Honestly,
same.
he probably could have torrential, but that's he's hoping to play it. I would play into torrential. If he torrentials here, it's like a 2-for-1.
Kinda. I mean, you do get a float back, right? Did you not have
one? And then 2-for-1 for me. Yeah, like he would lose, go -1.
Yeah, he would go
Honest
-1.
is kind of annoying for him. Yeah.
Yeah, he probably should have torrential just for positioning, but maybe he's thinking, oh, this doesn't matter. I can clear this with Cyber Dragon or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. Little does he know. So at any point are you thinking about maybe trying to Typhoon one of the first 2 sets to see if it's the Solemn?
No, because I don't have space to set Dust at the same time, and I really don't want to lose to Light Impersonate. Although I guess he doesn't have Light Impersonate, otherwise he would have flipped it. So here, like, Oppression was pretty clutch because he hadn't seen it any of the previous games. I'm surprised he doesn't Solemn this. Um,
Yeah,
I thought he had Road at this point. Yeah.
yeah, he probably should have solemn this because the second this gets flipped, this kills at least 2 of his cards. I mean, it kills the Cyber Dragon, it
But
kills the
yeah, yeah. But I misplayed here because I was thinking, like, because I had Call set. I was thinking as soon as I flip Oppression, I have to flip Call as Chain Link 2. Otherwise, it's dead. And I just totally forgot, like, in a moment, after I thumbs up, I was like, shit, I forgot to flip my Call. That was a huge misplay, and it actually almost cost me the match.
yeah, yeah.
This
That's
Call on DL would have been huge.
that would
I
have been
dodged Torrential,
insane.
and yeah, it's just more field presence, board presence.
Yeah,
It
that
was just really stupid on my part, yeah.
totally changes the game. Yeah, totally changes it. Like the second you get that in play, and then if you swing both into Mirror Force, I mean, you just get like a +1 and
Yeah.
or +1, which is crazy. Here comes the Banisher. Do you have an out for this? You do have the D Prison, which is clutch because that would have been really annoying. You would have lost your only source of pressure for the most part. And then he does find the Light Mirror, but now you know that that's potentially the Light Mirror, that card. You activate and then you let the Light Mirror resolve. Why?
Yeah, so I was thinking, like, I can flip my Dust Tornado if he attacks and get the Deox Search.
That's true.
It's basically, do I want to preserve information for 500 extra points of damage?
Yeah. And honestly, because you don't have that second DL in play, it makes sense to
Yeah,
not care.
yeah. But if I have a second Deox in play, the pressure, the clock changes, and yeah, it's just pretty bad on my part.
I think it's really interesting too, because like he could have Mirror Force this DL.
Yeah, but then I would chain MST and then get a +1.
Yeah.
And there's no way he's solemning that. I guess he could, but if he solemns that, I have 2 more dusts. So
Yeah. He finds his DD Warrior Lady, which is funny
even
with
though it's
Light Mirror.
negated by limb, like I actually can't run over 1600. Well, I do have freed, but I'm not summoning freed on this board state.
Yep. You're gonna bounce the Honest because you can
I can
always
return honest because I think his set is honest, so I want to use my honest to kill his honest.
make sense. And
Which
so,
turns out to be his beat worthy.
yeah, this card is actually really insane in this deck. It gives your Rhoda like mobility.
Yeah.
Yeah. You set the Shining Angel, set the Dust Tornado. Pretty straightforward stuff. You need to have the back row outs in play. You're not really under a ton of monster pressure because you have Royal Oppression, so the worst thing he's going to do is maybe like summon an Alias. He has not drawn any of his Gemini Sparks, which has been really good for you. Well, he drew 1, but yeah, you get the idea. He's not able to out the Oppression very effectively.
Bit annoyed because I'm back row locked, and once again, this is where the call for DL would have mattered a lot.
Yeah.
Because I could swing over the Gilman. Now I can't get over the Gilman efficiently. It's just super annoying.
Yeah, that is annoying. You could spend your Honest to do it, but that's not a great use of your Honest.
For sure.
Yeah. Just pass. Cyber Valley's not a bad draw. That can always out a Chimera Tech, or not Chimera, just Cyber Dragon if it comes to it. Or you could just go for draws.
Yeah, I think I'd go for draws here. And
Nope. Nope. You set the Cyber Valley.
yeah.
That's good. That's a good play.
He actually had TTI because he hadn't been attacking sets all game. I think I was taking a long time thinking that turn, and the setting was probably just bad. But I was like, if he attacks here, I'm kind of screwed. But he doesn't attack because he knows I have honest as well.
Yeah. So he normal summons Alias. Did he finally find his own Honest? No. Oh, he did. Yeah, he did. He found his own Honest. So what does he do? He still doesn't attack. What the heck?
Fine.
Yeah, I feel like swinging at the new one is pretty safe because you know the old one is Shining Angel, right? Does he know that actually? No, wait, he doesn't.
No, he doesn't. It could be honest as well.
Yeah, he could have swung, but I guess it makes sense not to. Yeah. He is summoning into his own Torrential, but that doesn't really matter because he has like Alias for days.
Here, I don't know if I played correctly. I was like, I think I flipped Cyber Valley and just banished 2, draw 2. It's like I want to find Storm and just end this game.
Yeah, because if you do find Storm on this term, and
then I can set Solemn and return.
Yeah.
And Oppression blocks Road.
Yep. if he is on road, which is what you've been reading this whole game, more or less. So you draw 2. You don't quite find it, but you do find Breaker, which is like pretty fucking good.
Yeah, and I have Honest to wall.
You go for Freed Priority. He doesn't stop it. It's kind of crazy. Do you spend your Honest here? Doesn't give you the chance.
Yeah, now I just need to preserve for that. Get some space.
When you rolled that dice, were you just memeing? Or were you always going to target that
one?
No,
it's just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I did hit the TT, which was nice, but
yeah, you hit the cards that mattered.
Of my back row, like they're not that good right now. Mirror Force is my only interaction because Call is dead, and
yeah, and he needs to summon into the threshold. Yeah. He
I'll actually take the 17 here, which is kind of annoying.
It does complicate things, for sure. But now you can stabilize again.
Honest. Yeah, but I set the Angel, which in hindsight was a mistake, because I don't have an out to light imprisoning.
Yeah.
I could have stolen that, but I felt like, I had Breaker to pop, but then he has Dash Shoot.
This is a lot of back and forth.
Things changed. I was up I think +2 at one point with the Deox, but then I lost it all with the light imprisoning. Now things get a bit awkward.
You could have solemned this Dash Shoot.
Yeah, I could have.
I don't think it's really worth it though, because Breaker.
But I'm either summoning Breaker or I'm setting Honest, so I think I'm okay here.
Yeah, you have 2 plays. If you didn't have 2 plays, you might have been forced to solemn.
And I was thinking, because his solemn was gone, and I'm pretty sure he didn't run Drive. I need to save solemn for Storm, because that's the only way he's winning.
Makes sense. Okay, here comes Alias, and does he know about this Honest? No, he doesn't, right? He only knew about the other one?
No, he knows about this Honest.
Okay. So he's going to try to use his Honest to get over this Honest, which is going to happen.
Yeah. That's fine.
Now you can Mirror Force.
Yeah.
And he goes for Spark. And that's going to hit
hits the worst part.
The dead call. That's so funny. So it ended up being okay in the end that you had a dead back row.
Yeah, but I should have flipped that earlier. It's just a bad play on my part.
Honestly, okay, it was Chainlink 1 Mirror Force, Chainlink 2 Spark. Okay, I was thinking if Spark was Chainlink 1, you could have chained Call and forced him to pay 100 and then not get the draw.
Yeah, but I didn't have a target.
Yeah, you didn't have a Dealk. Both the Dealks are banished.
Yeah, and even if I did have a Dealk, it would miss timing because Mirror Force is Chainlink 1.
And even if it didn't miss timing, there's a light mirror face up. So
yeah.
Okay. DD Warrior Lady attacks.
I'm just swinging.
Yeah, just getting the damage in. Oppression will stop Syndra.
And he has Hero Blast, I think.
Does he have the Hero Blast? This is the first Hero Blast of both matches, which is crazy.
Yeah, I actually thought he didn't play it because at that point I had never seen it.
Yeah. I think he doesn't play the maximum amount. I think he plays 1 or 2.
Yeah, he plays 2.
That makes sense.
So I have to TT here.
Yeah,
He's
can't
already
do
got
that
to 2 Gemini Sparks. Yeah.
Yep. Breaker gets redrawn.
Pretty clutch.
Insane draw. Actually so good.
So if I said return the previous turn, I could have just won this turn because his TT Mirror Force are gone. Well, actually, I don't know if my banish pile is big enough. I think it is.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, you could have won this turn.
Yeah, I mean, there's a world I could have just summoned Freed, swung, and set return and set a Breaker for next turn. But that was probably the better play, to be honest.
This is fine, though. I mean, you pop Light Mirror, and then you just get in for 16, which
yeah,
is
it's a
pretty
second
good.
Light Mirror as well.
Then you Legacy, main 2. Pick up Bottomless, which is actually really good. That's going to stop, just their next play, for the most part. Oh, this part was funny.
Oh, this is, yeah, just because set the buff.
So you misclicked, you reset, you misclicked, you reset, and you misclicked again, and then you reset.
And that's always so good.
This is it was funny because it was like 11 and a half hours into a tournament you've been playing on zero sleep on mobile, which and you just oh man, that was funny. I was actually dying. I was dying because I was exhausted, and I was also dying because that was so funny.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. I feel like the oppression really caught him off guard. I don't think he had many outs to it.
Yeah, he was kind of fucking owned by oppression this whole game. I mean, his miracles, his cyber dragon, and he didn't solemn it, and he never got any value out of his solemn, which ended up just like costing him, I think. He probably just should have solemned the oppression.
His sweepers are gone, so I'm just swinging.
Yeah.
I think he should have hero blasted now because it doesn't target. So he wastes his deep present on a breaker.
Yeah. And you can book this Shining Angel if you want
And then
to.
I booked the angel because I need the body.
Yeah. And if the alias
Oh,
comes,
minus one. But yeah.
if it comes down again, you can bottomless, and then
Yeah.
you have solemn in case he has spark. So
Yeah, exactly.
yeah, which is good. And then you also have return, which is going to be eventually just going to be the game. Tributes that
I
side
think he
are
should have just
though.
summoned Sidra. He should have summoned Sidra into bottomless. He knew I had freed from Dust Shoot.
Yeah.
I mean, he also knew I had bottomless. But if his Sidra eats the bottomless, then his alias walks next turn. So I think now he just lost because of this.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. A small error on like one of the last few turns of the game, and that's just going to be that. I mean,
Yeah, I think the other advantage is for these really long time games, it just increases the chances your opponent makes small errors. And I feel like I'm generally pretty solid technically, so I can capitalize on the small errors and just outplay them in the end. Like
yeah,
Marathon, right?
yeah, exactly. Here comes the heavy storm, and you are prepared for this with the solemn judgment that you've been sandbagging for a while. Here comes miracle. You can pay 8 for that. Here comes miracle. You can pay 8 for that. And there's the dust tornado, which is a little
Came too late, yeah.
turn too late, which is crazy. Royal Oppression absolutely clutching you against a deck that isn't really known for how much it special summons, but in a game where you both have resources, if you can like cut off just a little bit of their resources with one card, like if you can cut off like 3 or 4 cards with one card, and all your other stuff just trades 1 for 1, I mean, you're just going to win that long game 10 times out of 10. And that's exactly what
For
happened.
sure. I mean, it's also just Oppression blocking his bomb, right? He only has 3 miracles and then the divas. If Oppression just trades with one of them, it improves my long game prospects tremendously.
Exactly. Incredible tournament. Undefeated against not only the best players in the format right now, but the best decks in the format right now. Do you have any closing thoughts on all of this?
No, I mean it was a fun tournament. I think it was just a lot of fun playing against the best players who all played pretty solid, and it was a fun time. It was nice to win with Fairy. I think the deck performed pretty well, and yeah, proved all the haters wrong.
Pretty much.
And yeah,
Yeah. The technical
I
play
think
was
so. I do have to say though, like the thing with fairies is if you misplay even a bit, like it becomes like a C tier deck. Like you have to be on your A game the whole time, and just make many reads, consider many different options, because card advantage is so important. And so yeah, it's just really punishing if you screw up, but it's so rewarding if you play it right.
Yeah. I think that's the biggest draw to it, and you definitely played it well. Like you said, your technical play is, I mean, it was much stronger than all of your opponents in this tournament, which is saying a lot. So congratulations, you're now the #1 Edison player in the world, and people are going to be coming for that title. So, do you plan on playing in the RBET season next year? Is that something you're looking forward to?
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. It depends on time of everybody, because I'll be busy for a bit, but if I have time, I'll definitely try to sneak a few games in and see what happens. There's a few like fun builds I want to try to take and see if I can win with them. But yeah, yeah. I don't think you can ever get bored of this format.
Yeah,
Just so many decks to play, so many options, so many play styles.
it's very deep, and there's a lot of stuff you can do with it. I mean, even your tops, you topped with, I believe, Fairy, and you topped again with, what, Dragon Turbo?
Yeah, and I just bubbled with Control Dragons in Rivet too. I came like ninth. I was like, I misplayed that one too. I was like, should have won that, but yeah, I think dragons are fun, and I think any deck can win with in the hands of a good pilot.
Yeah, that's honestly facts. Thank you so much for joining me, ProStorm. It's been an absolute blast, and thank you for closing out this year so in style, I should say. We'll see all of you guys in the next video. Don't forget to smash like and subscribe. Leave any comments below for ProStorm. Say thank you for joining us for the last 2.5 hours out of his day, and we'll see you guys in the next vid. Peace.